What's going on, peeps? I hope you guys are well. What's good? What's good? What's good? Thank you, Cesar. Appreciate blessings. What's going on, Ramiro? Hope you're good. Guys, let me just get what's up, Gira. Hope you're well, brother. I hope you're good. Hope you guys are well. What's happening? What's happening? What's happening? Let's get this party started. Yeah. Looking forward to some fights coming up. We've got Canelo Bivol, of course. I want to debate about people. I want to debate with people about this fight because there's a lot of people that have, different opinions. I've got my opinion. I know there's a lot of people with their opinion. So I want to get your guys' thoughts on this particular fight and who wins. What's going on, Ryan? I hope you're well. Just watched your video and it was another great video. Thank you, Gira. I appreciate it. I hope you're good, Ryan. I hope everything's good. Just waiting for you guys to get in and then we can get this started. Smash the like button, everyone that's in the stream. Cesar Torres says Canelo wins KO 11th round. Salute, Brendan. What's going on? What's good? What's good? It's good having you as always, Brendan. Yeah. So Daniel Chambers says Bivol is a good fighter and will cause problems for Canelo. I can see Canelo winning, but it won't be easy. Well, Abel Sanchez said that he had a fighter go sparring, basically a fighter from the gym go, and he said he didn't have much trouble with Bivol. Canelo v KO, says Brendan. Yeah, I think so as well. I think Canelo's a better fighter, to be honest. I think Sanchez hit the nail on the head. Bivol doesn't really take the risks necessary to beat someone like Canelo. I don't see it, but who knows? Sparring and in the ring are different. Yeah, I agree. They are. But it's just I haven't been impressed with Bivol like that much, to be honest. Like looking at his fights with Craig Richards and then looking at his fight, even with some of the fights like Pascal Smith. I don't think he looks that impressive to me. That's just my opinion, fight to go to the distance and Bivol to win, says Ahmed. Wow. Bivol to win. Ahmed's picking Bivol to win that one. I don't know. I just don't see anyone beating Canelo right now. I think it's going to be so difficult to beat Canelo. So difficult. So difficult. Eddie Hearn talking about Usman. Yeah, I saw that. I made a video about that the other day. Probably, I think Canelo stops him around between 8 to 11. I think Canelo take him out. That's what I think. Maybe Bivol, like Sanchez thinks that Bivol will go the distance, but Canelo will win quite a comfortable decision. He doesn't really feel that he doesn't feel that the fight's going to be that competitive. He feels that Canelo will win quite comfortably in the end. But we'll have to wait and see. I don't know. It's a tough one. It is a tough one. It's a tough one. It is a tough one. That's easy work, brother. Easy work. Yeah. I don't know about easy work. Let's see. I need to see, man. Let's see if Bivol can raise his game. I don't know whether Bivol's got the gears to raise his game. Can he raise his game? Time will tell. Time will tell. I don't know if he can raise his game to that next level. I'm not sure. Canelo all day. Smash the like button, everyone in the stream. I'd appreciate if you smash the like button. Get those likes up. Okay, so what do you guys make of like Shakur Stevenson saying, I believe Shakur Stevenson said that he feels he beats Canelo. If they were at the same weight class, would Canelo have a trouble with a guy like Shakur who moves around, slick, very good fighter? I don't think so, to be honest, but it's tough. It's tough. A lot of people say, yeah, I could do what Floyd did to him, but Floyd is Floyd, eh? Not everyone can be Floyd. A lot of people say they think Terence Crawford's style would give Canelo a lot of trouble if they were the same weight class. Gero says he's delusional, bro. Who's Shakur? Stevenson. I hope Stevenson gets KO'd. Not impossible. Yeah, I think it's going to be tough. I think Stevenson right now he's a good fighter. That would be interesting to watch considering how they fight. Who are you talking about? Stevenson or Crawford? Stevenson or Crawford? Which one? Which one will be interesting? Guys, if you want to jump on, you're more than welcome to jump on. Give me your thoughts. What would be interesting is it the Crawford one? Crawford's a very slick fighter. He's a slick, switch hitter. He's a good switch hitter. That's a good fight. That is. That would be a good if they were the same weight class. Obviously, Canelo's so much bigger. He would obliterate Crawford at this point. But if they were the same size, that'd be a great fight. Canelo Usyk, if they were the same size, that'd be a great fight. You know what? I would like. I know it's crazy and it's not possible, but like I would love to see Canelo v Usyk, at cruiserweight or something. That would be a great fight. I know it's not realistic, and people may think that Usyk's too big, and I just think that's a great fight. Like Eddie N said that Canelo would be up for that at cruiserweight, but I just think the size difference is too much. Lol, if Canelo has a fraction of the power, if Stevenson hypothetically fought at 130, it'd probably KO him. Yeah, Canelo hits pretty hard. Pound for pound, he hits pretty hard. And yeah, that like I think people disrespect Canelo's skills. I do. They always say if they were in the same weight class, any version of Usyk cruiserweight to handily beats Canelo's most likely. Yeah, probably. Most likely, yeah. I'd have to agree. I think his style is a bit wrong as well. He's big, he's strong, he's got a good chin as well. So yeah, that's a step too far for Canelo for me. But I don't know. It's just like if Canelo does everything at light heavyweight, why not take a punt? That'd be. Imagine if he beats someone like Usyk. Canelo's he's definitely top 10, maybe top 5. If he does that, that'd be crazy. That'd be crazy if he does something like that. Cleans out cruiserweight. I mean, cleans out light heavyweight and then goes and fights someone like Usyk. Imagine that. Even if he goes and fights someone like a Bradis, for example, that would be phenomenal. If he goes up and fights a Bradis, that would be crazy. You know what I mean? Because Bradis is a monster. You know what I mean? So yeah, you got to give Canelo credit, man. He fights. To be fair to him, he does fight the best. And I think what he's doing right now is phenomenal. I do. I think what he's doing is phenomenal, and he deserves a lot of credit. He doesn't really seem to get the respect, Canelo, but he deserves a lot more respect than what he gets, really. But yeah, guys, if any of you wants to jump on, you're more than welcome to jump on. I want to talk some boxing. Let's talk some boxing. Waiting for you guys to jump on so I can talk some boxing. So Canelo has never. So Cesar says Canelo has never been dropped. I know why people think they KO him. He's never ever been dropped in his career. Yeah, he's never been dropped. You're right. He's never been dropped. He's got a granite chin. Golovkin's never been dropped as well. He's also got another one, granite chin. These are guys with like really, really good chins. They've got unbelievable chins. They're tough. Canelo's also like Golovkin's more incredible because Golovkin gets hit a lot, whereas Canelo's actually got a very good chin. So Canelo don't even get hit that like Canelo don't get hit a lot. Canelo's got a great chin, but he don't get hit that much. My man Ahmed's in the house. Ahmed, what's going on, bro?
I'm all right, Imran. How are you?
I'm all good. You know what? I'm getting hyped for this Bivol fight. I was having an argument with someone today as well about it.
Right.
Bivol's gonna but you know what? I did you watch my video that I put out?
I've just been busy today, but I've seen you yesterday's one.
Yeah,
And
yeah. Basically, the one where I was speaking about Bivol and what Sanchez says. I wanna get your thoughts, man, because Sanchez says that he's giving Bivol no chance against Canelo. What's
no,
going on, Tito?
that's silly though. Bill's obviously got a very good chance. His
Yeah, yeah.
style is his style is troublesome,
Hmm. Let me
and
let me read let me read something out for you, Ahmed. Let me read something out for you, and I want you to respond to this, yeah? Because you're a big Bivol fan, right? I want you to say I want you to tell me why you disagree with him. Now, this is Abel Sanchez, who is obviously somebody that obviously is very well respected in the game, and this is what he had to say. He said, I've had one of my guys, I'm not going to mention who, he went down and sparred with Bivol down at Manny's down at Santa Fe Springs. And my guy didn't have a hard time with him. He's a very skilled fighter, but he's a very cautious fighter. He doesn't take the chances you need to take at that level. As you're coming up, maybe, but at the level, you need to take some chances to make things happen. And he doesn't seem to have that gear. Canelo was supposed to have a tough fight with Saunders. Canelo was supposed to have a tough fight with Plant. But by fifth or sixth round, both of those fights, he was like hitting a punching bag. He could have closed his eyes and still hit those guys. So I think Canelo's just perfect time in his career. Bivol will present some problems in the beginning, but once Canelo zooms in, maybe sixth, seventh, eighth round, I'm not going to say it's an easy fight, but a fight that Canelo will win easily. Your
well,
response?
they are more Abel Sanchez and these guys. They are more closer to the fighters. They have
Mm,
inside information. They
yeah,
have
yeah,
more. They have more knowledge than us in that department.
yeah, yeah.
And he might have a point. He might have some points there, but we'll have to wait and see.
What do you think, though? I know you, Sito. What do you think? What do you think about what I just read out there?
So I'm going to agree with the gentleman that you were just talking to.
Yeah.
All right, so I'm kind of late into this conversation, but I'm just going to put my 2 cents in this one.
Mm,
So I remember the last live chat I did with you was about a month ago, and I gave you my insights on what I felt about Dmitry Bivol and how
mm,
Canelo could possibly take him apart. It
mm,
so the only advantage that I see that Dmitry Bivol has is his height. He's definitely a
mm,
great boxer. He definitely knows how to move. His
mm,
ring IQ, he is a little cautious, but when he
mm,
gets into the inside, he has optimal reach when it comes down to his jab.
mm,
I
mm,
honestly don't think of. Remember what I told you that one conversation we had a while back ago. I think he is a very small 175 pounder. He's like a full size strength super middleweight. He is a real solid super middleweight. I honestly
mm,
think Canelo's power and his ring IQ is what's just gonna go ahead and at the end. I'm not saying it's gonna be in the first half, but I want to sit there and say maybe round 8, round 9, pushing
mm,
round 10. I think Canelo's gonna get him out of there.
yeah, I kind of see it the same way. Sito, what do
I,
you make of Sanchez's comments about Plant and Saunders, where he said that those guys were supposed to be tough fights for Canelo, but after about 4 or 5 rounds, Canelo was like hitting a punching bag.
All right, so I used to follow Billy Joe Saunders when he was a middleweight. The guy
Mm,
was in. I remember the boxing clinic he put on David Lemieux.
yeah,
I
yeah, yeah.
remember that fight. God, he was
Mm,
that was a tremendous head movement, great
mm,
footwork. He was an elite, and that was when I'm like, that's an elite fighter right there.
mm,
Um, so if I'm going to compare the two,
mm,
Caleb Plant, I learned to respect him. I admire his tenacity. I admire the courage that he had to get in there with Canelo. He definitely displayed a level of heart and courage as far as his boxing skills concerned. I saw his boxing skill as he was good. He wasn't. He definitely wasn't a disappointment like I originally had thought he was going to be. But no, he showed that he was definitely a good boxer. The kid's
mm,
got heart. You know what I mean? He definitely has. Definitely a technician. That's what I'm going to take away from him. That's the word I was looking for. He's definitely a technician when it comes down to the boxing. But I
mm,
just don't think he had enough experience to keep up with Canelo. I think Canelo would have been way more aggressive, in the first half, I don't think Caleb Plant would have lasted 7 rounds. But I think Canelo, he had gone to PBC. They had hyped the fight up. He wanted to give, his his base, his fans. I'm a loyal fan. I love Canelo. I've been following him since for the last 10 years before he even became prime time in America and worldwide. But
Mm-hmm.
I just think that that was more of a he was definitely trying to get his name out there in the PDC platform, and he carried Caleb Plant. I'm gonna sit there and say he carried him. Um, but now as far as Billy Joe Saunders, I don't think, man. I don't think Billy Joe Saunders was an easy fight. I honestly think Billy Joe Saunders gave him a good 6 rounds where he was displaying, the side to side movement, the lateral movement, where he was displaying his southpaw abilities. I don't think he had the power to possibly
Mm-hmm.
knock out Canelo, but he definitely displayed the footwork. He was definitely showing off his skill. I just think at the end of the day, Canelo just timed him properly and just took him out like he promised he would.
Mm-hmm.
You
Yeah.
get what I mean? It's like we're not talking about Canelo of 8 years, 9 years ago when he was still green and he was trying to use, hand speed and still not using head movement properly, and he wasn't exactly closing it off on people when he was like trying to cut off the ring. No, this Canelo is he's like that mature strength, highly intelligent, with more maturity and with more power type of Canelo. You know what I mean? He's foot movement. He's using the space in the ring. He knows how to cut off the ring. He's now coming forward. He's becoming a more aggressive fighter. He's not
Mm-hmm.
he's definitely, you know what I mean? He's definitely not a traditional Mexican boxer, which is just pressure, pressure, pressure. He brings pressure to you, but he also knows how to use that ring IQ, almost like the American style of boxing. He uses a little bit of the European style, which is kind of like a little bit of in and out with just that American twist to it. I just believe he has an overall solid base. Canelo right now is he's an unbeatable fighter.
Mm. Is he what Roy Jones was in his prime? Not as athletically gifted and naturally gifted as Roy,
You
but
know what?
is he
I'm not
close
gonna
to a beatable fighter as Roy was?
there. I'm gonna sit there and say he has the same drive. I
Mm.
believe Roy Jones. He's athletic as far as his movement and hand speed was
Yeah,
concerned.
yeah.
To sit there and compare the two, man, that's a tough one for me to throw because Roy Jones at his point where he was still in his prime, man, he was another entity. The guy was a
But
phenom.
here's the thing, though, Cito, that you could say that Roy Jones, as he got older, he was never able to adapt his style. He was never able to adapt his style. Hence why, yeah, people say he was washed, but he got knocked out. But that was also down to the fact that he wasn't able to adapt his style and he was always relying on his athleticism and his gifts that he had when he was younger. But he wasn't able to adapt as he got older. Hence why, those gifts weren't there. They diminished and he ended up getting knocked out. Whereas Canelo Alvarez is more unbeatable. Canelo Alvarez adapts his style. Canelo Alvarez has got better. Canelo Alvarez is constantly evolving. Whereas
Yeah,
Roy,
because you got to remember one thing though. Canelo stays constantly in the gym. He's always
yeah,
preparing
yeah, yeah.
himself. Eddie Reynoso. I guarantee you, the guy is a mastermind when it comes down to like reading his opponent's movements. He studies everything from the past and the present. You know what I mean? Like what they're currently doing. What he tries to exploit their weaknesses. Like that's the one thing I'm always gonna admire about Eddie Reynoso as far as a
Tito, I think you have
trainer.
a problem with your mic. You have a problem with your mic.
Can you hear me?
Something. Yeah, yeah. Is you're echoing.
Okay, should I try to re-sign back in?
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'll send you the
Oh,
thing link again.
all right, no problem.
All right, yeah. So what's going on, Ash? Ash, you there?
Yes, hey, man.
What's going on, Ash? You good?
How's it going, mate? Thanks for having me on, man. You good?
All good. Long time, man. You well?
Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, can you hear me
Yeah,
now?
yeah.
Yeah, can hear you. Yeah, yeah, can hear you. Yeah. So sorry, Cito. Sorry, you got interrupted. What were you saying?
No. We were talking about Roy Jones and
Yeah,
Canelo.
Roy
I just
Jones.
want my final thing because I want other people to talk, and obviously I don't want
Yeah,
to
yeah,
steal
yeah.
like be sound like I'm like the center of attention here because I'm
Oh,
I
we're
always try
enjoying
to
it, man.
respect
We're
people.
enjoying listening
Yeah,
to you,
no,
man. You're
no,
kicking some
no.
knowledge.
Of course, my friend. The same way I always take it from every chap that's in this room. I always learn something new.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
guess my final thing I'm just gonna sit there and say is Canelo's always evolving because he's constantly in the gym. He's focused. You know,
Mm,
if there's anything you can learn to admire about him is that he doesn't try to live that celebrity lifeline, that line, yeah,
mm,
that lifeline that other people who get lost in money and fortune and tries. Canelo's very grounded. You know, he's a family man.
mm,
He's married. He's very private about his life. You know, you can just tell his overall demeanor. And Eddie Reynoso is one of those coaches that tries to study and exploit, whoever is going to be the future rival's weaknesses and tries
mm,
to improve on Canelo's skill. Like my final thing I'm going to say, and I don't know if anyone in this room is going to agree with me, but after Canelo lost to Floyd Mayweather, the kid evolved. He didn't stay stagnant. He didn't go down. He evolved. He took this loss and said nevermore. And he's gonna take something of the page and take it as a put it adapted to his playbook. And he evolved his skill. That's why he was able to accomplish the stuff that he's been able to gain in his life, both in and out of the ring. I mean, the guy's just he's a celebrity. He's an all-star, you know what I mean? But he's also humble in defeat and he learned.
mm. You know what? A performance that don't get talked about, guys, is the one of Callum Smith. You know, Callum Smith was the number one guy at the time, and Canelo absolutely battered him. Ash, he battered him.
Yeah, I forgot. Yeah, he was definitely what he won the super middleweight, like what was that, the Super Six tournament, didn't he?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah,
He
and no
did.
one here in the United States. They see, here's the problem I have here in the United States, and I'm speaking as an American with
Mm,
a Filipino Hispanic background.
mm,
The problem with the U.S. is if you don't make it out here as a name, I'll give you my prime example with a fighter that I remember we were both saying that I admire a lot, Amir Khan. Amir
mm,
Khan made a name for himself here because of who he trained with. Freddie Roach, who was his
mm,
famous sparring partner of, Manny Pacquiao. So he
mm,
gained that popularity. Anthony Joshua is another one. It's
mm,
like half and half. Here in the States, people know him and they love him, and then the other half is like, who is he? You get what I
mm.
mean?
But there's a lot
So
of disrespect for Anthony Joshua, isn't there? Because Joshua got knocked out when he came to America against Ruiz. So a lot of people were like, "This guy, man, this guy is."
but those are the ignorant people that don't know anything about boxing. Those are like the casuals. But people
Mm,
who know boxing, like purists, people who admire the sport,
mm.
look at what Anthony Joshua did when he came back against Ruiz. He beat the crap out of him. He outboxed on.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah, yeah.
So and look at the hype job. Look at the hype job. And I'm not saying that he was a complete hype job because he boxed and he made a name of himself. But okay, Deontay Wilder, the Bronze Bomber, he was an
Mm,
Olympian. He was an amazing fighter coming up. But who did they put in front of him? Who did he really fight? He's one dimensional. Look at Tyson Fury. He came in, yeah, he talked his smack, but the guy backed it up and he battered him 3 times. Even though the first one was given as a draw. Tyson Fury
mm,
battered Deontay Wilder 3 times.
mm,
And it was an emotionally, the last fight was an emotionally uplifting fight because in heavyweight history we were missing that 5 knockdowns in a fight. My God, it was an amazing fight. But that's what I'm saying. The UK boxers, they don't get the recognition as like Mexican boxers or Puerto Rican boxers, or in some cases even Filipino boxers that make it big here in the United States.
mm.
Callum Smith was no pushover, man. Everybody who knows anything about boxing, even a little bit, knows that the guy was a major champion. He was an undefeated fighter, and he was nobody to reckon with. You get what I
Mm,
mean? So yeah,
mm.
Canelo just completely annihilated him. But you got to give
Yeah,
Smith his credit. He hung in there. He didn't get knocked out. He hung in there all 12 rounds.
yeah, yeah. He did. He did. He got beaten up. Guys, I want your opinion. Ash. What do you make of Joe Joyce v Joshua?
Is that actually is that a real fight?
Hypothetical fight.
Oh,
Because they've got a bit of beef right now, right?
yeah. It's a dangerous fight, I think.
You reckon?
Joe Joyce is a big guy, man, and he can take a punch.
Yeah. Yeah.
And he's an Olympian, isn't he? I'm sure he's an Olympian, isn't he?
Yeah. He's silver medalist. Yeah.
Yeah, so he's a good fighter. He's just come onto the scene maybe a bit late, so people don't know much about him. But
But he's old, though,
I'm
isn't
not
it?
sure. To be honest with you, he's I'm not sure, because if Anthony Joshua gets one handed on his chin, I think he'll get knocked out.
Yeah.
So
I get
I don't
you.
know. I think it's 50-50 that fight.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. I don't. Right now, I'm not confident, Sito, with Joshua at all. Yeah, I'm not confident with Joshua, like fighting anyone at this point.
Anthony Joshua just had a couple setbacks. Now look at the
Your
British champion of the world.
Sito, your mic's gone again.
Okay, I'll try again.
Yeah, all right, cool. All right, okay, let me get. So yeah, what do you think about Canelo and Bivol, Ash? I want to know your opinion about Canelo and Bivol.
I think I know, right? People, to be honest, man.
You don't rate him. I don't either, man. I don't rate him either, bro.
I've never rated him. I've seen him fight. He's been in a division that's not really glamorous, is it? So unless you don't know, you don't watch boxing, you don't know much about him anyway. I think Canelo beats him. Only
Your mic's playing up, Ash. Your mic's playing up.
oh, is it?
Yeah, I don't know what's. Yeah.
But sure, it's not.
No, it's not, man. I'm pretty sure my voice. I'm pretty sure they can hear me well. Like I think you're echoing. I think it's your signal's weak. It's 5 out of 10. Ahmed, say something. Ahmed.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah. See, Ahmed's loud and clear.
Yeah.
Yeah, Ahmed. Yeah. It's yours, Ash. Burning Desire saying it's yours. Yeah. So, what you do, Ash? Go back out and come back in. So yeah, Ahmed, man. Yeah, you didn't get an opportunity to finish what you were saying about Bivol and Canelo.
Yeah, I mean, Abel Sanchez, yeah, he's got some inside information. He's taken a fighter there, got some feedback. But you just don't know. Sporting at the end of the day, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it is.
Well, people never went hard on the guy. You never know. So I am judging it on the fights and how I've seen him, and which is why I call it a 50-50 fight.
Yeah, I'd have to agree, man. It's a tough fight, man. It's a tough fight, but I just fancy Canelo right now. I think he's on another level. But what do you make of like Joshua and Joyce?
Joshua and Joyce, Joshua's vulnerable at this stage of his career, but it's a fight that could sell a bit, couldn't it?
Who do you think wins?
I think Joshua with a bit more experience. I think he could beat Joyce. Yeah.
I'd have to agree. I'd have to agree. I don't rate Joyce, man. I think he's quite slow and ploddy. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't know whether he's got what it takes to beat someone like Joshua. I don't know, but like Joyce is a type of guy when he's in the ring, he looks horrible, but he may be effective. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's hard to judge. Like what? There's another fight, Sonny Edwards v Mohammed Wasim. What do you think of that one?
I'm not familiar with the fighters, to be honest with you. What weight category? What weight category?
I think it's bantam. I think. One sec. Let me have a quick look. I think it's bantam. Sonny Edwards is a good. I've seen his world title fight. No, sorry, flyweight. It's flyweight.
Yeah, I've not gone that down
Well,
to see them guys.
Sonny Edwards is a good boxer. He's brother of Charlie Edwards.
I've
Uh,
heard of him, so Sonny Edwards. I've heard he's a good boxer, but I've just
yeah,
never seen them guys at the lower, really low weights.
yeah. It's a good fight, man. It's a good fight. I favor Edwards to beat Wasim. But yeah, I think Edwards is probably going to outbox him. But yeah, good fight. I think Wasim gets an opportunity, to become a world champion. So it's a good fight. It's a good opportunity, man. But it's not. It's happening in Dubai. There's
Right.
not much clout around the fight. There's not many people are talking about it. But for me, I I I think there's some good fights. Like I think there's some good fights in the lower weight classes as well. So like if we look at lightweight division, what do you make of the lightweight division, Ahmed? Javante Davis, uh,
Yeah,
Javante
yeah,
Davis.
yeah. It's a really exciting division, especially as I think Shakur Stevenson will move up very, very soon
Yeah,
to that
yeah, that'd
division.
be good, isn't it? Do you
Yeah,
think Shakur Stevenson beats them all? Because you like skills, you know what I mean? And Shakur's got skills.
yeah. I mean, for the first time I've seen him against Jamel Herring, and he was quality. But you
Mm,
can't. You've got to see him against another top operator. Younger version, younger fighter. To see what he's really about, because you can make all fighters look a bit thingy. But if you can do it against very good fighters, then we'll have to see in it.
yeah. So you think who do you so Shakur Stevenson v Javante, who wins that in your opinion?
I think it's a close one, but I'd go for Shakur Stevenson because I think he believes in himself a bit more, and I just think with the Javante's career, man, there must be a reason why he's not fought the top fights, and he's only fighting people like Barrios and that when he could have gone in with Josh Taylor or someone.
Mm,
Maybe Floyd thinks he's not that level, if you know what I mean.
yeah. You think like protecting him?
Yep. Because a really top fighter will say, "No, well, I'm not protecting anyone. I'm fighting anybody, anywhere, anytime." You know what I
Mm,
mean?
yeah, I hear you what you're saying. I'm to be honest, I'm a bit frustrated with those divisions, man, because they don't fight each other, man. They don't even fight each other. What's going on with Teofimo Lopez? Where's he got off?
I think he's ballooned up, and I think
Oh,
he's gone off the radar.
is he?
I think so. Yeah, well, he'll come back, but I think he's come back down to earth, innit?
Yeah. Look, what about Virgil Ortiz, man? Did you hear about Virgil Ortiz?
Yeah, the fight got cancelled, innit?
Yeah. Because he got a muscle condition, kidney something to do with his kidney. Apparently, something to do with making weight. He's struggling to make weight, and he tried to lose weight too fast.
Right.
And so he had to pull out. That's quite severe.
Do you think
Uh,
he might? Do you think he might have a problem making 147 in the future?
yeah, possibly, yeah. He's too big, man. He's massive. Have you seen the size of that guy? He's bigger than Castano.
Yeah, but do you think he can win a world title at 154?
I don't know. It's hard because like he's a bully. You know what I mean? The way he comes forward and he takes shots and he's powerful. He might lose his advantages at 154. You know what I mean? Because
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
those guys are massive up there.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Could you see him beating Jamel Charlo or something? No, that'd be difficult,
No,
wouldn't it?
I don't think so. No, I think that'd be a horrible fight. For him, that'd be horrible. Look at Lomachenko v.
I never got your Lomachenko versus.
Ahmed
Yeah. Can you hear me?
George Kambosos.
Uh,
Yeah, I can hear you. Yeah.
Lomachenko versus Kambosos. I think Lomachenko would beat him.
Yeah, I do. I think as well. They're talking about like Lomachenko's obviously in Ukraine right now. But they're talking about getting him out so he can get into training camp so he can prepare for that fight. Kambosos, would you rate him?
Off one performance, you cannot raise somebody because the next performance he might just be flat. You don't know, but
Yeah.
but against Lomachenko, I think Lomachenko doesn't make silly mistakes. I think he'd get outboxed against Lomachenko. I think. I don't know if he'll be able to get into a third or fourth gear against Lomachenko.
What do you make of Andrade v Parker, Zach Parker?
I've heard of Parker, but I've not seen much of him. But I think Andre will beat him.
Mm-hmm. Andrade, what do you make of Andrade's career? He's 34 years of age. We spoke about this many times. Where does he go, man? What does he do?
I think
Where
a wonderful fight for him and a wonderful fight for Jamal Charlo would have been for them to fight each other. I mean, that would have been perfect at this stage. The winner would have a great case to sort of get a fight against Canelo.
Yeah, I
But
agree.
they've not done that. And Canelo would be thinking, you know what, sack both of them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
I'd have to agree, man. Why do you think they're not fighting each other? What's the reason?
The reason is there could be a number of reasons. One reason might be one might rate the other and think, you know what, it's a risky fight. They might not want to lose that, or they might think, you know, if we lose, we know we're going to lose that payday against Canelo possibly.
Mm-hmm.
Or the other thing is they don't believe in themselves enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you, man. I think it's the payday. You know what I mean? What does
Yeah.
Ash think? Ash, what do you think?
One man. This got the
What do you
back end
think?
of it.
These guys, Demetrius Andrade and that, 34 years
Yeah.
of age, and he's not fought anybody. But like, why do you think they're not fighting each other? Like Jamel Charlo's not fighting like Demetrius Andrade. Why are these guys not fighting each other, man? We need to see these guys in the ring, in it, because like Jamal Charlo is fighting Selecki next. You know what I mean? Why are these guys not fighting each other, Ahmed?
You know what it is, to be honest with you, it's full with the salt. Because
Yeah.
he came out coming out 15-0 and I'm not unbeaten, and so all these fighters I want to keep the O and they don't want to risk losing it, because if you look back at the great fighters, a lot of them,
Mm-hmm.
which fighter do you know that's not at a loss?
Yeah.
So it's just Floyd Mayweather who's done this, to be honest. And at the end of the day, it hurts their own legacy, because if you want to be a professional fighter, we talk about Leonard, Ray Leonard and so on, then you got to fight and risk and win. Like Manny Pacquiao now, I will never forget Manny Pacquiao. And there's so many fans that they will never forget him, because he took losses. He's got 5-6 losses, but I don't look at him. I don't remember his losses. I remember his wins, because he took risks and he went in there and he challenged himself. So I just think these fighters, they don't want to fight. They don't deserve a Canelo fight. They just stay fight and they come there at the end and it's quality, because you working to get a Canelo fight or any fight. You think Mayweather near the end, obviously he fought Andre Boto and a few guys just to fill gaps, but mainly you had to done something to fight Mayweather or even Oscar De La Hoya or Manny Pacquiao. You was going to fight by fighting Sekis. So they're going to have to blame, really. I think so. Let them. They can't so Andre is a joke. That guy, he's 34 years old. I'm sure you said yourself, he's been champion for how many years?
Yeah, I don't know, for so long,
No
man.
risk taking. You get paid. You're getting paid big dollars. Taking knocks at all, and dropping the feet in it. All these fighters are bums, not bums, but guys are not top level fighters. They're just doing a Cal Brooklyn, man. That's what they're doing.
Or fighting, and then eventually get a big fight, and then. But at least Kell Brook fought Sean Porter. You know what I mean? These guys are fighting. Not like Andrade's not fought anybody at that level.
That's what. A lot of them, and people like Andre, one comes and says he's such a big Andre fan, and
Christian.
I don't understand with what these guys watching. What you safe back the fighter. I understand. Some have for example, like I have like a different kind of backing family car. It's a different kind of connection. For example, just to make if that makes sense. So I know some fighters, people fans, they just like the fighter, but you gotta, if you're gonna like fighters, that they gotta take risks. They gotta be fight, man. That's what boxing is about. It's not about fighting Zinchenko's and guys that like the guys in Selekis.
You know what? Like, when you think about it, like Robert Harrison says, who's Andre's biggest win or biggest fight? I don't know. I honestly don't know. Like, he's had.
I think it's that guy. The guy. What's his name from UK?
Liam Williams.
Yeah, I think that'd be the biggest fight.
I don't know. Like he's fought Mitrosian as well. That was a decent win, but I don't know, man. The guy's had he's not beaten anybody. I don't think he's beaten anyone world class. I'll be serious. I don't think he's beaten anyone world class. To be brutally honest with you, I don't think he's beaten. I don't think he's beaten anyone world class whatsoever.
I think the one way you got fighters, challenging themselves and trying to put on great nights. You don't have that anymore. You're getting fights of guys that are risk no. You know what, man. To be honest, every fight, I take. There's too much done, man. Too many guys have not done but want the big awards. So that doesn't make sense.
Yeah, I hear you. Yo, where's Ahmed and where's Ash gone? Ash, where have you gone? So let me go through some of your questions. So Burning Desire says Galahad looked at a Samuel Vargas fight, looked huge at the Samuel Vargas fight. So he was at the Samuel Vargas fight, Galahad. Okay, Robert Harrison said, who's Andre's biggest win? I don't know who Andre's biggest win is. I think Andre's bigger in probably Matarosian, probably. Okay. Mayweather was one day, though. Look up the payouts. Canelo made 5 million, I believe. Mayweather was a payday, though. Look at the payout. Look at the payouts. Canelo made 5 million. Yeah, he did. Payouts. Canelo made 5 million, I believe. Yeah, but that was obviously a big fight. If Canelo only made 5 million for Mayweather, I thought he would make more than that. Hawk says, I think Charlo is fighting a plumber from Poland. He can't punch either. Yeah, Selekis. Burning Desire says, Maidana is fighting at cruiserweight. How will he do? I don't know, to be honest. I don't know what Maidana's got left. What's going on, Ash? You there? Maidana is... Yeah, Ash, you there? Ash, you're having trouble with your mic, I think. Yeah, I can hear you now. It's the signal, I think. I think your signal's off. So it says here, Hawk says, does your boy Amir Khan really want the rematch? I'm not sure if he does. I don't know. I don't know what his plans are. I've heard some rumors about Khan, but we've got to hold tight to see if they're true. Yeah. Maidana, Ash. Have you heard about Maidana?
Is he saying he's coming back or something?
Yeah, he's coming back at cruiserweight.
What a joke that is.
Yeah. Maidana.
Is he coming back to have a burrito challenge?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what he's doing, but Maidana was what fighter he was in his prime.
Yeah, he was powerful. Well, for the weight, was a powerful puncher, wasn't he? And
yeah, he was. He was.
Take a decent punch as well.
Yeah, he was, man. Fight Gamer says Andre should fight Eubank. What do you think of that fight?
That's a good fight, but I think it's too late now for that. He needs to go. He needs to go and fight. The only way he gets a Canelo fight, he needs to go fight. Has he moved up, hasn't he? 168, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Fight Benavidez. Fight Benavidez.
Fight Benavidez. Who do you think wins that fight?
Benavidez.
You think Benavidez beats him?
Yeah. He's younger. He's not as slow as people think, and he hits hard as well. Not as hard as maybe people think either. So you'd be surprised.
Burning Desire says, okay, Ray's in the house. What's going on, Ray? I hope you're good. So Selecki is Andre's biggest win. Selecki is Andre's biggest win. No, that Selecki's Burning Desire says, I think Khan wants to go out with a son. He may take an easy fight. Go out with a son. He may take an easy fight. What do you think about the Khan situation, man? Khan wants to fight on. What do you make of it, Ash?
Yeah, I don't know, man. He wants to fight on, does he? That's what I'm hearing as well.
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Yeah,
He doesn't have to rematch though, innit?
might do. I don't know. I don't know what's going off at the minute. I don't know. They're talking about it in the back. What do you think?
To be honest with you, man, I'll be honest. I lost a lot of respect for him.
Why?
Because one thing is he's never valued the UK public. He's never fought here. Hardly fought. He had one fight in like I don't know how many years here. The Julia Diaz fight, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And secondly, if you knew you're done, why embarrass yourself? Why embarrass the whole Asian community? You know, people went there, paid big money to go watch the fight.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with that, man. I do agree with that in some sense that a lot of people, I know loads of people like were going to watch him. You know what I mean?
The point is, he knew he was done because you're telling me in training camp he did not know he couldn't do the things he wanted to do.
Yeah.
Come in there.
He was quite confident before the fight, though. He was so confident.
I think he thought that Cal Brook was shot.
Yeah.
He thought Cal Brook, I'm gonna hit him with one or two, and he's gonna foul. But Cal Brook wasn't the case. Cal Brook went into the Crawford fight with a 7-week training camp.
7 months. Yeah.
For the Crawford fight, he only went. I think he only had 7 weeks because they go, "You want the fight?" and he didn't want to give it up. He goes, "I'll take it." And then Dom Ingle goes, "Look, it's short notice. Don't take the fight." And he said, "No, I want to take it." Blah blah blah. So he took the fight. And now that we realize he wasn't really ready for that fight, was he?
Yeah.
Now this fight, he was ready, mate. He wanted to break. He's been waiting for this for so long. And to be honest with you, it was an embarrassment. That was not a fight. He got battered. You know what? I didn't want to say this, but for the first 2 rounds, he's in the bit, whatever, because Cal Brook was just trying to get ready to time him. And after that 1 round, he beat him to pillar to post. He didn't even throw a punch. And then when the referee stopped it, you don't look at his reaction. He knew he wanted the referee to stop it because he was done. He got rocked from a jab. He's talking about Cal Brook getting rocked from a jab. What happened to you? But you know what? I'll tell you something. I respect Cal Brook because he's a humble guy. I know I got more respect for Cal Brook because if that was Amir Khan winning, you know what he would have done between me and him, man. He would have said, look, I told you I'm on levels above him, man. I told you I'm going to do this. 100 million %. He never would have been humble about it. But Cal Brook, on the other hand, Cal Brook was humble. He didn't rub his face in the dirt. And, you know, he celebrated. But of course, he would have won the game, but he won the fight. But he didn't.
Yeah.
You know, him and Dom Ingle, how long they wanted this fight. They could have easily, took the piss out of him there. But, they didn't. So fair play to him.
But I think they knew. I think they knew as well because even Ingle said that Khan was finished. He came out of retirement really to take the fight. So you got to give him credit. Like, so they knew that obviously they were beating Amir Khan. That was kind of way past it. You know what I mean?
It's just sad to see, to be honest.
Yeah, it was terrible. It was terrible. Like,
look, the thing is no one but his own fault really. Because if you look at it, look at Manny Pacquiao, for example. I know Manny Pacquiao is a special guy, but just for example, and that guy is 42, man, and he
looked good, and even when he lost to Ugas, he was respectable.
Respectable. It wasn't like he got battered pillar to post the way Amir Khan did. He was in that fight, and don't forget him, man. Ugas is a tough opposite in his prime. Cal Brook's on his prime. And another thing, Ugas is a tricky customer as well. He's not like some guy you can easily just beat if you just turn up on the night, And that shows, how good Manny Pacquiao was to fight at 42, and Floyd Mayweather. We're not comparing Amir Khan to them. We're just saying that if he could have been went on a bit longer, could have, if he did it the right way. But that's not the case. I don't want to see him in the ring again. I don't want him to. He's disrespect. I feel if he takes another fight on, like a meaningful fight, he's just disrespecting the public, robbing for money. Well, you got money anyway. You should retire now and I don't want to see him in the ring. To be honest, he ain't got nothing left. He's just embarrassing himself. You know what? I don't want to. You know what? I'll be honest. If he keeps going on a couple of more fights, he will get remembered for these beatings. I'm telling you. Because and I'm gonna add one more thing in, man, which I lost respect for him was he didn't give a fuck about the UK public because he guess where he lives in, man. He lives in Dubai. You don't live here. No one's gonna question him in Dubai or what happened in your fight. So this is the reason why he took the fight, because he knew even if I get battered, I'll just go to Dubai and live there. No one's gonna bother me.
Oh, he's in the UK right now, though.
Yeah, but he comes in for a day or two and he doesn't live here anymore.
Doesn't he?
No, he lives in Dubai, mate.
But anyway, regardless, it's his home country, so his parents live here, right?
Yeah, but the
So
point of the matter is, what I'm trying to say is, Cal Brook, he would be seen around all the time, and people would approach him and say, "Oh, all right, Cal, wow, brilliant fight, blah blah blah," because he's gonna be he's based in the UK, so you understand if that makes sense. Amir Khan's not based here. He won't see him on the internet unless he's here for some reason. You understand?
Yeah.
So he avoids that.
He's filming right now, isn't he? He's filming for his TV show.
Yeah, you don't care. This is the thing. You know,
That's what I mean. But you know, I seen him. He bought a Lamborghini, 500.
Yeah.
Like, do you see that?
Yeah, it's just a joke. You know.
Yeah. So like, that was a bit like I found that a bit strange in the sense that, don't get me wrong, he's worked hard for it and he's made a lot of money, whatever. But after losing such a big
fight, and the way
you know what I mean,
it.
he's devastated.
Yeah, you don't care. Because you know what it is? I'll be honest with you, man. You know this anyway. He's gone past caring about career. It's all about money for him.
Yeah. I agree with that. Yeah, it's not there anymore. Yeah.
Someone that from his bitter rival gets a whooping of his life, and for the next 2 days he's in Dubai like nothing's happened, and he's buying.
If Kell Brook had lost, he would have been devastated.
He would have been stressed out. He would have been depression right now.
Yeah, he would have been. Yeah.
You understand?
Because I did say this though. I did say this. If Amir Khan lost, it wouldn't affect him like it would do Brook, because he doesn't care, because he's got a lot of things going off in his life, innit? Khan.
Yeah, you know what it is, Simon. What it is when it comes to money, you know yourself, you know, it's like football, for example. Footballers are gonna still get their wage. They don't care. I mean, if they're not from and they ain't got nothing tying to that club, they don't give a shit after a while. They're not gonna care if they lose, as long as they're getting their money. It's the same thing with the certain fighters. Like for example, in this situation, Amir Khan, once he started chasing Mayweather, that was it. He didn't care. You don't care about the fans that support him and that follow him all over the world, and you know, in America and here, can't go out to pay for his fights, because end of the day, he just went in there, embarrassed himself, and took the money and just fucked off basically. But that's disrespecting the fans. Look, for the point I'm making is, if you look at Manny Pacquiao, he took the fight, yes, but he didn't disrespect the fans. He always gave him a show. If he knew that he was done, he wouldn't get in there.
Yeah, I hear you. Like if you look at someone like Canelo Alvarez,
yes,
right? He's a consummate professional. You know, this is a guy that's been fighting for a very long time, living the life, living in the gym, and he doesn't mess around, does he?
No. If you look at Canelo's got obviously maybe 10 times the money of Amir Khan, but look how hungry he is.
Yeah.
You know, of course, everyone's human. He might be doing certain things, you know, for downtime. Fair enough, but 90% of the time, Canelo is in fighting mode. You look at Terence Crawford, wins his fight. A week later, he's back in the gym again.
Thing is, you know what's incredible about Canelo, Ash, is the fact that the guy fights so regular as well. Like last year, like he fought like 5 times in the space of like 10 months.
Yeah, back to back.
4 times in the space of 10 months. Like, how the hell is he doing it at that kind of level? I don't understand. Like, imagine, and then beating these guys easy, making easy work out of them, Ash.
Yeah, I'm sure if you remember, I told you, remember when we spoke about Canelo, because we've had a lot of chats about Canelo. I told you, man, none of them are on his level.
Yeah.
To beat them, if he puts the work in as he does, remember, an athlete is as good as he puts the work in. If you don't put work in, you're not gonna be that good, even though you've got the skills. You get what I'm trying to say? Like Amir Khan, if he kept working and doing what he was doing, till now he would have still had his speed and his leg speed. If he and most of it, he's got nothing left now, but he would have still had 50-60% of it, because if he kept doing the work, being a constant professional. And you know, look at Crawford, the same age as him.
Yeah,
I know
Ray.
maybe people, the excuse people use is that Amir Khan was started early. That doesn't make a difference. When did Floyd Mayweather start fighting?
Mm.
When did Manny Pacquiao start fighting? They didn't fight in the late. Started early. Same as Canelo. Let's forget them guys. Canelo, 14, 15 years old, he's fighting.
Mm-hmm.
You mean,
Yeah, I hear you, man. I hear you. It was very sad to watch, man. It was. Let's ask Ray. Let's ask Ray.
Yeah.
Ray, are you there? Oh, where's Ray gone? Ray's got off.
Ray, I think his connection might be missing, right?
Yeah, probably. Ray's a Khan fan as well, so he probably would have made some good points as well. Ray, if you're there, hop back on. I'll send you a link. And hop back on. Oh, he's back. Ray's back. Ray, you there? Ray? Ray, you there? I don't know what's going on. Ray? Ray, you there? Oh no. Ray's having some issues. Ray, I'll put the link in the thing again anyway. But yeah, carry on, Ahmed. Yeah, I mean Ash, you're making some good points there. Even Fight Game is saying Ash making some good points.
But I can't remember what I was saying there, but I'm just generally saying, like, going back to Canelo, he's the main man right now, and only thing that, if you got any fighter that's got the same kind of skill level, then it becomes of size. Then size matters, because because if they've got both guys on a similar skill level, then size matters, because that's what's going to be the difference. But I think the only thing, I can't see anyone, that's got the same skill level. There's only a couple of guys that are bigger, like, there are guys bigger than him, like, Better Biev, he's a bigger guy, and he brings something different to the table, where, constant pressure, power, and that's a challenge. You just gotta look at stuff like that. But I just can't see anyone beating him. I think Canelo beats everyone now, and I think in a couple of years he'll just retire.
Ray, are you there? Can you speak up, Ray? Ray? No, I can't hear you, Ray. I can't hear you. Maybe you've got your mic on mute, Ray. I think you might have your mic on mute. So basically, Burning Desire is asking, what level would Khan be at now if he was active and didn't fight Canelo? I would say he would maybe be 50-60% of what he was in his prime. What do you think, Ash?
Yeah, I think he would have beat. Put it this way, he would have beat Cal Brook. If he was 50-60% left. But what you gotta remember, man, is see, when you take too many shots over fights, it takes a toll on you. People that don't look. If you don't watch boxing too closely, you don't pick up certain things. Like, I'll give an example. Gloves, for example. There's different type of gloves. Now, an average fan wouldn't know things like that. Like, what's a puncher's glove, what's a boxer's glove, and stuff like that. And what goes on behind the scenes, if you know what I mean. So you got to have a strong mental game, as well as having skills and all that as well. It's a lot goes into being a superstar fighter, like, for example, a Mayweather or a Pacquiao or a Canelo. You understand? That's what it's right there, because you got to have skill with the mental strength and all round game to be a icon kind of thing. But
Ray's in the house, Ash.
Is Ray? Yeah, yes, Ray.
Yeah. Imran, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. What's going on?
It's much better. Sorry about that. My apologies. I don't know what was going on there, but I've just been listening to Ash and you having a debate about Amir Khan, and I just agree with everything that Ash was saying.
Yeah. Ash was basically saying that it was disrespectful for him to fight against Kell Brook in that sort of state. He should have known. It's like disrespecting the fans.
Well, what he actually said was disrespecting the embarrassing the Asian community, and I thought, to be honest, it was brave of him to say that, but I can definitely understand where he's coming from saying that. Yeah.
Yeah, it was quite, to be honest, for how much it was hyped, it was quite a nothing.
But Imran, me and you did say that. We both did say these guys have got nothing left.
Yeah.
We all know that the fight happened many years. You could argue a decade after
what should happen. So you can't.
Yeah.
I think people should have expected that, but I think people were really, really disheartened by by his performance, and then now he wants to come back. It is a bit like, who's he kidding? Who's he kidding?
Yeah. And Ray, you know what you're hearing? You're hearing the rumors that you know what I told you in the group chat, right? This is something that he said that he's looking in. Like, I've got a screenshot of him like saying something. You know what I mean? So like, I'm like, I can't believe it. I can't believe it. Like, and I won't be surprised if they they kind of make it. They basically make it, because you can sell anything, to be honest. Like, you know what Teddy Atlas says, there's enough suckers out there to buy things, eh?
Yeah, that's very true. But you know what the problem is, Imran? You know what the problem is?
Yeah.
He'll probably end up like Danny Williams.
Yeah, that's the problem. That thing is, though, Ray, you know what? When you think about Amir Khan, you think that he's too good to end up like that. Do you know what I mean?
But then you think Roy Jones.
Yeah, exactly. But like, when you think about Roy Jones, you're like, Roy Jones was one of the greatest fighters of all time. And he ended up getting flattened after flattened. How many times did Roy Jones get knocked out? About 7?
Pretty much. I think he maybe won 1 in his last 6, 8, did he?
Yeah.
His record was appalling towards the end, and that's just saying, this is how we have to look at these guys now.
Yeah, it was sad, man. That was horrible, Ray. I was shocked to how that fight played out, man. I couldn't believe it. I couldn't even believe it was the same guy in there.
Yeah, he looked completely different to what I've grown up watching him. He didn't look the same Amir Khan I grew up watching, which was really sad. It was really upsetting.
You know what, Ray? And you know what worst thing was? You know, when we seen him against Crawford, he looked terrible in that fight, let's be honest. But we were all like, it's Crawford. It's Crawford. Crawford's the best pound for pound fighter in the world. So we kind of gave him a pass. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'll be honest with you, he looked terrible when he came back from the jungle.
Yeah. When he fought Samuel Vargas and he got dropped.
Yeah. Even his fight against, the thing with Phil LaGreco, I said to my dad, Eddie Hearn promoted that fight, I'm sure, and Eddie Hearn was seeing his speed still there. Yeah, he did. I think he promoted 2 or 3 of those fights. I said to my dad, that speed isn't there. Eddie Hearn's kidding you. That speed isn't there. Phil LaGreco was just a bum, really. Essentially, that's what he was.
And Ray, if you look at that fight, go watch that fight back now. At that point, we wouldn't have seen it. If you look at when Amir Khan knocked out Phil LaGreco, look at the way he throws his shots. His legs weren't in line with his hands. Even when he knocked LaGreco out, right? If you look at his body positioning, it wasn't right. It wasn't. You don't look at it at that time because it looked so impressive because he wiped him out in 50 seconds or whatever. But when you think about what transpired let's be honest, okay, he knocked that guy out in 50 seconds. In the Vargas fight, he looked terrible. He got dropped in that fight. Then in the Crawford fight, he got battered basically. And then in the Kell Brook fight, he got battered again. So I think the comeback after Canelo was just a joke, really.
He shouldn't have done. I think he should have, or at least packed it in after Phil LaGreco. Go to the jungle, come out the jungle, give everybody like a farewell fight in the UK, and then pack it in, leave on a high. And this is the thing, is we're talking about Khan in this manner. I see the same thing happening to Kell Brook as well. Because let's not talk about Kell Brook like he's some sort of hero.
No. People are making out like Kell Brook. I don't know, like Kell Brook beat some killer in there or so. Like I don't.
Yeah.
He beat Amir Khan. Amir Khan probably don't beat Chris Congo at this point.
Yeah. Or that.
No, I'm being serious. Yeah. I don't think he beats Chris Congo. I'm being serious. On what I saw, I think there's some British guys better than him at this point.
Yeah. Mickinson, Chris Jenkins.
Yeah. Easy. Mickinson can fight.
I'm not too sure about that bit, but he definitely beat Amir Khan.
No, what I mean is Mickinson can fight in terms of Mickinson's not a poor fighter. He can really fight.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
He's a good boxer. Do you know what I mean? Not scrap. Not like, I'm not talking about his style. I'm talking about like he's got ability.
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
what I saw of Khan in there, Khan looked like you think Mickinson wouldn't give Brook a better fight than what you saw Khan give.
I think any of them would beat Amir Khan in that manner. To be honest, then, man.
Yeah, exactly. So
any of them.
that was
Hey, man,
you know.
the sad thing is, yeah, when your man's got money and he's still fighting guys that he would have beat easily in his prime, but he's got enough money, but he's still fighting guys that, and then lesser guys are beating him. So how does that? So how funny it is. A few years ago, this guy's talking about legacy and I want to challenge myself, and it's all about legacy. But all of a sudden now, he's fighting guys that let's go back a bit. Mike Tyson was fighting people because he had no money. It wasn't because he wanted to ruin his legacy. Amir Khan's got money, so why is he fighting these guys that he could? Why is he fighting for? He can't fight.
I
He can't
agree,
fight.
man. I agree with you guys, man. I think you're speaking. Let's ask Stephen, man. Let's get the knowledge in the house. Stephen, what's going on, bro?
Steven's doing silent mode.
Stephen, I can't hear you, bro. Are you on mute? Have you got yourself on mute? What's going on with everyone's volume? I can't hear you, Stephen. I think you've got yourself on mute.
He needs to come back, I think.
Yeah, Stephen. I think go off and come back in. But Ray, what do you make of like? I want to ask you, like, what do you make of like all these old timers coming back and ruining their legacies effectively?
It depends. I've got no problem if they're coming back for an exhibition with another old fighter. I've got no problem with that. But I do have a problem with people like Khan coming back. He's obviously thought Brook was at a similar level. That's fair enough. The problem is him coming back and still thinking he can beat the likes of Conor Ben. He can call out Josh Taylor. He can call out other people within the prime or just past the prime. Amir Khan needs to accept that he just hasn't gotten anymore. He just hasn't gotten anymore. So he needs to leave it alone.
Can't accept it. Why can't he accept it?
I don't know. It's the makeup of boxers themselves. It's a bit like it's ego, it's pride, it's all of knowing. Amir Khan, what else is you going to do? If you know you can earn 7 figures, it might be a really high 6-figure sum now for doing something which came relatively easy and natural to you. You probably will do it. He has a flashy lifestyle. It's something I can easily pay. I'm not saying he's skint or anything like that. He's far from it. But I don't know whether it's the ego that kept going. Roy Jones Jr. Again, ego. I know Ash talked about Tyson fighting on for money, but other people have fought on and trying to prove something.
Ray, what do you make of like, after the fight he bought himself a Lamborghini, which obviously cost a lot of money.
I saw that on Instagram.
How does that sit with you as a fan of his, a guy that obviously admired him as in his youth? How does that sit well with you after losing to a rival in a fight which was dubbed? Does that tell you that does that show that he didn't really care about the Brook fight? He doesn't really care if he lost?
He's trying to heal his wounds by buying something lavish and extravagant. That's what I think he's done there.
Do you reckon?
It's a bit like
making himself feel good.
It's a bit like a massive cup final or a massive derby. The football team loses in a derby, and then the football team's out celebrate. Out in a nightclub when he should be at home, sort of like licking the wounds and being regretting it and not wanting to leave the house. I wouldn't have done what he's done, and I find it really strange because it leaves things wide open for people like yourself and Ash to say, well, why have you, if you really care, why have you done that? Because Cal Brook wouldn't have done that. Cal Brook won. Cal Brook didn't go out and spend stupid money on something like that. And the thing is, it's not something that he's got 2 of those already.
Yeah.
This is, it's not as if it's his first. He's got 2 of those already. Amir Khan's got a history of making quite poor investments. That's what other frustration with him, because he clearly wants money. It's not as if his money's. He's not like Danny Garcia, who's got a really good property portfolio. It's not like that, is he? So that's my issue with Khan. I just think he did come out at the end. He did an interview with IFL. He said he's no longer in love with the sport. Okay, fair enough.
He said that with
He's
Sky.
no longer in...
He said that with Sky. That was the post-fight interview with Sky. He said
he also said it with IFL. But the point I'm trying to make is, why come back then? If you're no longer in love with it, you no longer got the ability. So why come back?
Yeah, I agree, man. Stephen, I can't hear you, man. We can't hear you. Your volume's dead. Yeah, your volume's dead, man. Get on. We want to hear your thoughts on this, man. We want to hear your thoughts on this.
It's probably because he's driving and he won't have to...
What, Ray, what was the issue with you? Why couldn't you talk initially? I think Stephen
I don't know. Maybe it was the Wi-Fi or what have you. I'm not too sure. I don't know.
Yeah, I think Steven's going to try again. He said he's trying again.
Yeah. But Steven's in the car order. That might be different. I don't know what's a signal.
No, but he's always in the car when he does it, and he's always fine. I don't know. He'll find it. He'll come on. He'll be all right. Yeah, man. I was disappointed, Ray. I was disappointed, man. I can't say. Then you know what? I actually thought remember when he lost. I actually said to you that I think he's gonna disappear, and I think he's not gonna show his face. But it's been the total opposite.
He sort of he went to Dubai, didn't he?
Yeah, he can hear you, man. Yes. Yeah, go on, Ray.
Okay.
And then
he went to Dubai. He kind of went there, and he went there with a family. But the problem is, Imran, he was on Instagram every 2 minutes. Every time I went on Instagram, there's a picture of Amir Khan and modeling a new outfit or posting something. It just didn't sit right with me. He really needed to go into hiding, reflect, and come up with a statement saying, "Look, I'm formally retired," instead of getting Ben Shalom to basically say he's fighting again. He's fighting again.
Yeah, I find that a bit strange. I find that a bit strange. I'm confused.
But you know what I think, man? What's up, Ray? What's up, man, Ray?
All good, man. Steven, all good, brother.
Doing good, man. I don't think it really has what he does with his money. I don't think that's an indictment on his commitment to that fight. I mean, he made a lot of money. Why not go buy a Lambo? Nah,
but Steven, that don't sit well. Come on. You lost a big fight. You know what that fight means, right?
Steven,
come on, Steven.
No, Steven. See, this is the problem you see in America. I mean, I'm trying to think. When was the last time you saw a massive grudge fight like that in the States? You see, how long ago was that?
Yeah, that's what I mean.
How long ago was that? So the thing is, Stephen, everything was on the line, and when you lose to a bitter rival like that, trust me, you don't want to show your face. The last thing you want to do is go on Instagram posting that you bought a Lamborghini.
But Ray, that just smells money grab, then, eh?
I just think it just shows that he's not bothered.
That's great, man.
I don't know. Maybe, Stephen, you're looking at it at the fact that they were both at the end of their career, so it doesn't really affect their legacies that much. They were both past it. Is that how you're looking at it? Where's Stephen gone? His connection.
But the thing is, though, man, it's all about legacy, because now this is what Amir Khan's going to be known for. He's not going to be known for the good run he had at 140. He's not going to be known for that anymore. Only by the real sort of hardcore fans. Everyone's going to know him as the guy that ran his mouth and then got absolutely battered off on Kell Brook.
I don't know. I don't know in the sense that. Go on, Stephen.
Well, I was just gonna say, man. I mean, listen, man. I'm not.
Oh, where's he gone? He's making some good points as well, Stephen. It's good debate going on. Yeah, go on, Steve.
I say I just don't feel right counting his money. I mean, who am I to say? Who am I to say didn't have any type of commitment to it based on a material purchase? I don't feel right doing that. I just don't see where that should where you should question his that fight.
I'll answer that for you, Stephen. Amir Khan had a 10-week training camp. Kell Brook was in training camp for near enough 8 months. I think that tells you all you need to know about commitment. Because that's been the same with Amir Khan all throughout his career. All his trainers have said is once he's got a date, he's in the gym. After a fight, he goes missing. And that's his problem. If he stays in the gym in between fights, he'd be learning and he wouldn't make the same mistakes that he does. He'd be improving. But he didn't. Amir Khan seems to realise he boxes when he's in camp. But that's not where all the hard work's done, Stephen. You and I know, and Imran, that graft's done year on, day in, day out. It's not done just when you know you've got a camp. You've got to be in the gym for 10, 12 weeks. It's difficult to improve during that time because most of that time he's spending getting the weight down.
Do you remember some of his good performances was when he was dedicated in the gym? If you look at, remember the Collazo and Alexander performances?
Exactly.
He was living the life at that point.
Yeah.
I don't think, after watching the fight, I don't think that he was ever capable of beating Kell Brook. I really don't. My observation and my view has changed on Amir Khan. Not saying that he wasn't as great as we found him to be, but I'm just saying like the physicality and the power of Kell Brook would have possibly always have been too much for Amir Khan. I don't care if he trained for eons.
I don't know because I think Amir Khan dealt with the physicality in Maidana really well.
Yeah, Canelo as well.
Maidana did quite well at welterweight too.
Yeah.
And I think that's the danger, Stephen. I
agree with Ray, man. I agree with Ray.
But because Amir Khan was so badly beaten by Kell Brook, now people would say this would have happened had they fought 10 years ago or 5 years ago. That's a problem.
I agree, man.
I said that to you, didn't I, man?
Yeah, you did. Yeah, you did.
I said that because of the manner of the defeat, people are now going to start saying that.
Yeah. Steven's got a point, though, in the sense that Brook was way bigger. But I just look at Steven, I just look at the way he fought against Canelo. Like, and Canelo's way bigger and stronger than Kell Brook. So, I don't know, man. I don't know. It's a tough one.
I'm going to say something controversial, okay? And I don't know how it's going to be received, but I want to say it.
Oh, he's back.
You know that was going to be a big point as well, don't you, man?
Yeah, he's back.
Okay, I think for all intents and purposes, I'm going to say this. This is going to be controversial, and it's going to be, I don't know how you guys are going to take it, but I'm going to say it. Okay, Amir versus Canelo. Okay, Canelo, you want payday, Saul Alvarez. Okay, Bill messed up. I think Amir Khan is way superior boxer to Canelo. I think he'll outbox Canelo with his eyes closed. Canelo was just more powerful.
Even this version.
Even this version. I think Amir Khan. Wait, hold on, brother. Hold on. Okay. So boxing wise, I think he was better than Canelo. And that's why you had that fight turn out like it was. He was really pretty much winning that fight until Canelo clipped him. Okay. Now when you take somebody like Kell Brook, Kell Brook is a killer, man. I'm trying to listen. I know it's gonna be controversial, but I know a lot of people gonna say, Steve, here you come again. But Kell Brook can box and he got power. I don't think Amir Khan, while they're similar in boxing skills, I don't think he was ever gonna be Kell Brook now that I say it. Now that I see it.
I don't.
So no, but here's the thing though, Stephen, right? Canelo you could say an in prime Amir Khan, right?
No,
and he
he
knocked
wasn't.
him cold.
He wasn't his
No, it
prime.
wasn't
Amir
his
Khan,
prime.
yeah.
He was coming towards the end of his prime, basically. He was at the end of his
Mhm.
prime, Ray, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah. And Canelo knocked Amir out cold, right?
Yes. Yes.
Mhm.
And Kell Brook fought a totally washed and shot to bits Amir Khan. And Kell Brook hit Amir Khan flush on the chin about 30, 40 times. He never even went down once.
Yes, but don't forget, Kell Brooks probably past his prime as well.
Oh, yes,
Yeah,
yes. But
he's-
power doesn't depreciate as much as speed and movement, though. Like power
Yes,
stays with you till
power's the
later.
last thing to go. Yeah, power's
Yeah.
the last thing to go. Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
if he couldn't
I,
knock, you know, I don't know. It's hard. It's hard for me. I don't know. It's a tough one. It is a tough one. I just don't. I just think that Ray's right in the sense that I think people might overestimate Kell Brook now after that performance.
yeah,
But
yeah. I agree with that. Yeah, yeah. I think
this is a guy that had trouble with Carson Jones. You know what I mean?
yeah. I mean, Kell Brook had his share of issues though. He's had his share of mental roadblocks, but that don't negate the fact that he still, he's still Kell Brook. He still could box, man. Listen, man, when Kell Brook was in there with Gennady Golovkin, he pushed Gennady, and you
he
know
did.
how much I revere Gennady. I'm just saying, man, that I don't, for what it's worth, I just don't think Amir Khan had all the right utilities, all the right utensils, assets in his regiment in his makeup to be
And I,
bro. I just don't
Steve,
think it.
I just want to add here, just a hypothetical, right? If you look at this
Mm-hmm.
fight, Cal Brook couldn't even knock Amir Khan down, right? And
Mm-hmm.
if you can imagine Amir Khan in his prime, if Cal Brook couldn't
Mm-hmm.
knock him down now, how was he gonna knock him out then?
But like, okay, so it goes back to what Ray was saying. Ray was saying that, I mean, one thing we got to factor in is the fact that both of them are out of their prime.
Power doesn't go leave
Yes.
you though as much as speed and
Stephen,
footwork.
one was way washed than the
Power
other.
power stays with you, man. Power stays with you. You must have lost a little bit, but the point
I
I'm
think
making is
what
you couldn't knock Amir Khan out and now. How would you have knocked him out in his prime? If power was overrated from day one.
Yeah, I
Well,
don't think Kell Brook had much punching. I don't think his punching power was all
Else,
that.
if he had power, if he had
what you've got to
power, yeah,
remember is
he would have stopped
Amir
Errol
Khan
Spence.
on
He would
his
have,
day. Amir Khan
yeah.
on his day. What I'm talking about when he was unified at 140, his footwork was in sync with his hand speed.
Yeah,
Mm.
yeah.
Do you see what I mean? So when he was on the outside, there was no catching Amir Khan. People's
He
only
would
chance
never.
of beating Amir Khan was to get him on the inside and catch him when he was throwing shots. That was the only way that you would beat Amir Khan, unless you abused him like Angel Garcia. That was the only way of beating Amir Khan. If Amir Khan stayed on the outside, there was no catching him. Now, Kell Brook isn't the quickest. He hasn't got the quickest feet. He hasn't got the quickest hands. If Amir Khan stays on the outside, I can't see Kell Brook getting to him.
Plus, Cal Brook was not quick enough. He's too slow.
That's
And
exactly what I'm saying. Yeah,
I think
he didn't have that
the
speed.
other thing.
He had the timing, but he didn't have the speed.
he only had. And plus, no, sorry, I want to say he's a counter puncher style, so he would not be able to counter punch Amir Khan in his prime. And even if he did, that day proved to everyone that he didn't have the power to knock Amir Khan out. Anyway,
Here's the other thing though, Stephen. Here's the other point I wanted to make, and then I want to get CO's opinion on it. What we're underestimating is Amir Khan wasn't a big puncher in his prime, but his hand speed and his leg work, he was explosive, so he could keep you off of him. He could sting you with shots. Right now, he couldn't do that. So when he fought Crawford and when he fought Kell Brook, he had nothing to keep him off because it was his legs. It was Amir Khan's legs that made him the fighter he was. His hand speed, yeah, that was fast, but it was his legs. Wouldn't you agree, Ray, that it was his legs that made him the fighter, and they were totally gone?
Well, yeah, and also those rapid combinations.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, one time you can't let his hands go, and then he got back on the outside. He made you reset. What I mean by that is he made you think again about launching another attack, about coming forward, and then he would move tight side to side. He was crucially buying seconds and nicking rounds by doing that. So you're behind. Psychologically, it's putting a lot of pressure on an opponent, particularly on a come forward fighter, because you become hesitant. I can imagine Kell Brook at a peak, say 2011, 2012, being very hesitant about throwing the right hand. And Amir Khan in and out, in threes and fours, and back out on his feet again. There'll be times when Amir Khan gets caught because Amir Khan, he can leave his feet when he gets caught in, and he can drop those hands, and then he gets caught when he's finished landing his flurries. And that's where I think Kell Brook has some success. But as opposed to the physicality, Amir Khan proved that he could handle that because he could handle some welterweights. I mean, look at how rough Lamont Peterson was, and Peterson was on stuff.
Lamont Peterson was a
and
beast.
And Amir Khan, you know, he could physically handle him. I really thought Amir Khan should have won that fight. Amir Khan really could. Amir Khan was physically stronger than what people give him credit for. I think because of his chin, he doesn't get that credit, and he never will now because of what happened with Kell Brook.
Yeah. I beg to differ on that one. Look, Amir Khan's chin has always been questionable, but if that was the case, though, I mean, look at what he did when he fought Marcos Maidana. You know what I mean? That's one of his legendary battles as he had throughout his career, and he outboxed him beautifully at the very end. So I mean, Amir Khan is just one of those fighters. And I was jumping in real quick because I was already hearing both you guys, both my friend Steve and Imran, what you guys were saying about how really like Special K ended up kind of exploiting or exposing, should I say, Triple G. He did. Amir Khan was one of the very first people to actually expose Triple G as far as that he's hittable.
Amir Khan never exposed Triple G.
Canelo, you mean?
No, I'm saying. Can't get that.
Amir
No, that
Khan
which one called it special. Not Amir Khan. That I meant to say. Kell Brook. Special K. Special K was able to expose Gennady Golovkin as far as like the first 6 rounds. How he was able to tag him. That's what I meant to say. Sorry, gentlemen.
Yeah,
but that doesn't say much because the smaller guy is always going to be quicker, so he's going to attack the bigger guy.
I think what that kid was saying, Ash, was about the uppercuts. The uppercuts that Kell Brook was throwing gave me and many people watching it who are observing fans, it let other people know that to get Golovkin you need to throw a lot of uppercuts. What Canelo was doing. That's what Canelo was doing.
Well, no. My thing is like when Steve ended up, what he was opening up to in the dialogue is just, here's what I'm going to say. People can say that doesn't mean anything just with speed, but remember, for a handful of years and for a handful of fights, think about this: who was the most avoided 160 pounder in that division, and who was the monster? Exactly. Okay, and here comes a welterweight jumping up 2 weight classes, and for the first 6 rounds, he actually made Triple G look human. He made him look human. He wasn't the big bad monster that everybody was portraying him out to be.
I hear what you're saying.
But you get what I mean? I mean, he got don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. Don't get me wrong. To me, I think Kell Brook's career took a nosedive afterwards because of that eye injury that he took, from absorbing that shot that Triple G gave him. But for the first 6 rounds, no. Go back and watch the fight. The first 6 rounds, whatchamacallit, Kell Brook ended up making Triple G look ordinary. Afterwards, he got tagged up.
If you go watch the fight, right? Go watch the first round. Then, if you watch the first round,
he almost took him out in the first round.
He was going to stop him. He was going to stop him, but he didn't want. He wanted to put a show on, so he let him carry on. Go watch the first fight. He punched him in the stomach and he's going to finish him there. Kell Brook's about to fold. He's trying to hold Triple G.
I don't see the thing about the weight, so because Kell
really
Brook
think Triple G will let him hold
a 154 pounder. Kell Brook
Kell Brook was
Golovkin. Golovkin could still make 154 at the time. It wasn't possible for him to make 154. So it's not as a big a jump as what you think. When Kell Brook went on the scales, you're acting like Kell Brook was a lot. When Kell Brook went on the scales, you look physically. Everyone was saying, especially here in the UK, that Kell Brook looked so much better at the higher weight than he did at welterweight. He looked completely ripped. When Amir Khan stepped up and he fought Canelo, Amir Khan looked he looked as though he was fat, really.
Yeah.
Well, can I say something real quick? Go ahead. I'm sorry about that, Ray. Go ahead.
No, so I was just going to finish in saying the difference wasn't as vast as the difference between Canelo and Amir Khan.
Yeah, I agree.
So,
and Canelo blows up as
you've
well,
got a
Ray.
point. Exactly, you've got a point that Kell Brook was in the fight. Yes, he was.
Yeah.
But he soon got dismantled.
Yeah.
And now
the thing is, I want to add as well. You think Amir Khan couldn't have done the same thing? You think Golovkin would have been outboxing Amir Khan the first 6 rounds? I don't think so.
I don't think Sito was having a go at Amir Khan. I think
no. The point we're trying to make is that he's saying Kell Brook did well in that fight, but what I'm trying to say is Kell Brook could have got stopped in the first round. Here's
the thing, Ash. Let me tell you this. I actually think the way Kell Brook fought in that fight was stupidity, because he went toe to toe with a bigger man, and he ended up getting his eye socket smashed in. That's not brave. That's stupid.
Well, let me say something real quick. Can I say something real quick? I think it's possible that you have in every sport you have those participants that have for one reason, whatever reason, they've garnered a bad name and a bad reputation, and they just are undervalued people. I think Kell Brook suffers from that. For whatever reason is, nobody really likes Kell Brook. Nobody really cares for Kell Brook. Okay, but I know what people are saying. People are saying that he could have got stopped the first round with Gennady, but the fact is that he didn't. He didn't. He pushed him. He pushed Gennady. When Gennady was Gennady was a straight up killer. He pushed him.
But you had the whole people. There 20,000 people in there, and if you
the same Kell Brook that pushed Sean Porter. He handily beat Sean Porter. This is the same Kell Brook that was beating Earl Spence. He was beating Earl Spence.
Stephen.
Really. How was he beating Earl Spence?
I don't think he beat Sean Porter that handily, man. I think that was a razor thin fight, Stephen. That was a razor.
I saw it different.
The British commentator, Stephen, the British commentator had Kell Brook losing the fight. The British commentator had Kell Brook losing against Porter. No joke. Yeah. Ray, am I lying?
No, that's true.
Yeah, Jim Watt had Kell Brook losing.
Yeah, I thought that was quite a close fight. I also thought in the Spence fight, I thought was very similar to the way the Golovkin fight. Kell Brook had some early success, and then Spence took over. Spence bullied him.
Yeah, the thing is, fight's all about timing. You know what I mean? If you think about the Sean Porter that fought, Errol Spence, Kell Brook ain't beating that Sean Porter. That Sean Porter at the time was a green kind of Sean Porter where he was just trying to be like a mini Mike Tyson, and Kell Brook was a big guy as well. He's not a little guy, and outmanned him and
I just think y'all ain't giving Kell Brook
no.
respect.
No.
He's a good fighter.
I think Kell, good fighter. But I think this win against Amir Khan is giving people a false impression. Yeah. I'll give you another example in the heavyweight division. There's a guy called Joe Joyce, right? He's 2 fights ago he beat Daniel Dubois. Now I have people ringing me, telling me this guy's going to walk all over Anthony Joshua. This guy will give Tyson Fury trouble. I'm telling you, he won't. And this is the problem. Sometimes people have a good win.
I think that's bullshit, man. He doesn't walk over Anthony Joshua. That's
Imran. I'm telling you now. That's what I have people telling me. And this is what I mean.
But that's because Anthony Joshua is underrated now. People think he's got no chin, and that's just the way how it is.
Well, it's the same with
Anthony
Khan.
Joshua is viewed
Is
like
that
Khan.
not the same with Amir Khan or not?
Yeah,
Is
but
that
that's
not
what
the
I'm
same with Amir
saying.
Khan?
That's what I'm saying. They're both in the same category.
That's what I'm saying.
Look, I told Ray, what did I tell you before about Anthony Joshua and Amir Khan? That they took risks that other British fighters didn't take. So Kell Brook, for example. So Kell Brook, for example, like Stephen was saying that we're not giving him credit. I'll tell you why I don't give Kell Brook credit, Stephen. He beat Sean Porter. Name me another championship level win that Kell Brook had.
Well, I mean, what I'm saying is that he's been in there with some very high level, high octane opposition, and he's almost beat everybody he was in there with. He stopped. I mean, come on, man. He stopped Amir Khan. He stopped him.
No, okay, Amir Khan. But what about you're saying he almost beat Golovkin, he almost beat Spence, he almost beat Crawford.
Well, almost beaten is that's no, I don't mean almost beat, but I'm saying that he showed signs of who he was, who he really had in the pocket. But I just think he's just one of those guys that people hate for some reason. People love to hate him.
You know why?
I don't think anyone hates him. It's just that I don't think
when Amir Khan was fighting people like Maidana, Zab Judah, Danny Garcia, Kell Brooks fighting Frankie Gavin. Jojo Dan. Come on. Stephen, as much as you know about boxing, and you know a lot about boxing, you got to compare the two. Amir Khan was fighting the very best. Don't forget, he was one fight away from fighting Tim Bradley for the undisputed. And who's Kell Brook fighting? You know, Frankie Gavin. Come on.
And plus, here's the thing about Sean Porter. I like Sean Porter. I think he's a good fighter as well. But everybody makes out like Sean Porter was one of the greatest welterweights we've ever seen. Like Sean Porter lost to every natural welterweight he fought.
Yeah, but he was a very tough gatekeeper though, and he was a tough world champion.
Was tough. Don't get me wrong. He was tough, and he was a good. But Ray, you said to me you don't think he was elite.
No, of course not. But he's a good. I'll give people that one. Sean Porter was a good opponent. If he was on Amir Khan's resume, would be saying it was a.
Ray, I'm not saying that he wasn't a good win. I'm not saying he's not a good win. What I'm saying is that that win's not like Tyson Fury beating Vladimir Klitschko. Sean Porter is not an all-time great welterweight like Klitschko was as a heavyweight.
He's not, but neither is Danny Garcia.
Hey?
Neither is Danny Garcia.
No. That's what I mean. I'm not saying Danny Garcia is a super champion. The point I'm trying to make is that does that one win that he had against Sean Porter, does that surpass everything Amir Khan did as a professional? Every fight that he won, everything he did as an amateur.
The only thing Kell Brook can say is that he won a world championship at 147.
But so did Devin Alexander.
No, I'm on about in comparison to Khan.
Oh yeah, okay, yeah. But that don't really mean a lot because Malignaggi won a welterweight world title. So did Devin Alexander, and Amir Khan battered both of those guys. It doesn't I don't think that means a lot. Do you know what I mean? He battered both of those guys.
I have to agree with that. I have to agree with him on that one.
So I don't
if you compare him to Khan,
I don't know, man.
If you compare him to Khan, Khan didn't win. Khan didn't win a world title at 147. No. Kell Brook did. He went to somebody's backyard and done it. So you got to give Kell Brook that respect for doing that.
Oh no,
yeah,
Ray,
but listen, Amir Khan didn't have respect for that. Amir Khan could have been unified. No, he wasn't. Was he?
At 140, yes, that's correct. Yeah,
but that was Amir Khan's weight, didn't it? Amir Khan moved up to 147. He was. You can't give him accolades, but you can't compare him to Amir Khan's because Khan did much more. He was levels above it. But what it was at this stage of his career, he was levels because he took the risks and put so much mileage on himself. And
I agree with that. I agree.
Yeah. I mean, I've always said that, Ash. Man, I'll tell you. I've always said that Amir Khan's resume is one of the best. Him, Froch, Joshua in the modern era.
I'm not trying to. All I'm trying to say is Kell Brook. He was just a good fighter because his best fights he fought Sean Porter And look where he won. But a lot of people have their own opinions on that. And if he was that good and he went to the backyard, like you said, he didn't win it decisively. Like say for example, Errol Spence.
Yeah.
Errol Spence
Amir
came over and
Khan's
won
were
it
all
decisively.
decisive. Amir Khan's wins were all decisive. You have
Yeah.
no doubt.
So
let's
put Amir Khan to one side. We're just talking Kell Brook for a second. We're saying Kell Brook. He's just an average. He's just a good fighter. I would say he's just above, British level kind of fighter, because he won one world title. After that, he didn't defend it with anyone notable. And then he got injured, whatever. And then who did he fight? He went up to Golovkin. He lost that fight, whatever. And then he got lost again. And he lost again. And then that's it. And he beat Amir Khan. So what can you say about him, really? If you go in 20 years' time, us guys know about boxing and we know a bit more about him. But someone looks at it. He does say Amir Khan's way better than him.
Yeah.
So that's the fact.
I hope people see it that way, Ash, but I'm a bit skeptical.
Say that again.
I said I hope people see it like the way you do, but I'm a bit skeptical because I think people disrespect Amir Khan that much that people will.
All I'm gonna say is this: every fighter, fans pick something to hate on. Now Mayweather, he's boring. He's this. He doesn't like. He's boring and he doesn't do this. But boxing people know Mayweather is a genius in the ring. So Amir Khan.
Yeah, exactly.
He's chinny. He's chinny. Let's talk about his things that are positive about him. No, we won't do that. So it's always it's a prerogative of people that they're gonna always have haters. The fact of the matter is, people that know boxing will know that Kell Brook did nothing in his career compared to Amir Khan did. It's just that when they met, it was just it was lucky for him that he was in with someone that was like a shadow of himself, and he had a good night.
I completely agree.
That's all it was. If that was Amir Khan, the one that fought Canelo, he would have beat the flipping life out of Kell Brook. He would have busted him up.
Yeah, I'd have to agree. But Stephen makes a good point, though. Stephen probably thinks that Kell Brook is a little underrated. Kell Brook doesn't get the credit. Kell Brook is a guy that, a bit like Golovkin, that didn't get the opportunities. Remember Amir Khan was a golden child. He got the opportunities. You know what I mean? He had the red carpet. Kell Brook didn't get those opportunities.
Yeah. But Imran, we gotta go fast. You can say what you like, you can say what you like, or you can say Amir Khan had help in that. But at the end of the day,
No, I don't disagree, Ash. I don't disagree. What I'm saying is I'm playing devil's advocate. I'm looking at it from the way Stephen's talking. I'm looking at it from where Kell Brook fans talking. You know what I mean? Like, he didn't get those.
It's nonsense.
He didn't get the Danny Garcia fight. He didn't get the.
Why didn't he
get
fight?
the fight. He didn't get the Maidana fight. So
why didn't he?
We don't know. Like,
yeah, but he had fights. He could have fought Sammy Vargas. No, what's his name? Jesse Vargas.
Yeah.
So why didn't he? He could have fought Devin Alexander. Twice he pulled out with injuries, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I got answers for these Kell Brook fans. Look, I like Kell, but when you're comparing him and saying that Kell Brook's this guy, he isn't that guy. Because if he was that guy, he wouldn't have got beat like the way he's beat when he stepped up. Regardless of
let me put it this way then, Ash. Stephen. Okay, forget the Golovkin fight. He was fighting a guy at middleweight. He was never gonna beat Golovkin at middleweight. He was too big, right?
Yeah, right.
But that opportunity he got against Spence, that was Kell Brook's make or break fight. That was his legacy fight right there, right?
Yeah.
Can I ask you a question? Let's say the Golovkin fight didn't happen. And you're a Spence fan here, right? You're a big Spence fan. So would Kell Brook have beaten Errol Spence?
Well, I mean, I think again, I don't want to ruffle no feathers, but I think he by all accounts, he was beating Errol Spence. Kell Brook, man, he wasn't no bum. Kell Brook was no bum.
That's true. Yeah, he was no bum. Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, no one thinks he's a bum.
I agree. I agree with Stephen. That I reckon if he didn't go up and fight Golovkin, I think he would have beat Errol Spencer in the Sheffield Arena with the support.
Wow. Really?
I don't think he would have beaten Errol Spence. No.
I think so. Well. Okay. If he didn't beat him, I think he wouldn't have got stopped. He would have went to points and he maybe would have lost on.
He wouldn't have been stopped the way he was stopped. But I don't think he would have beaten Errol Spence. Errol Spence looked as.
Stephen, are you hearing this? You're the Errol Spence here. people are saying he beats Errol Spence. Nah, man.
You know, Cal Brook.
You
Yeah,
know what, man? I think people have a point because listen, man, he was beating Earl Spence. That's the fact. The fact of the matter is before it's the same thing with Canelo and Amir Khan. Before Earl Spence really started to wear Kell Brook down, he was beating Earl Spence. Listen, man. I'm gonna just say it. I'm gonna say it. I'm gonna say this. Y'all ain't gonna agree, but he was even beating Terrence Crawford.
Until Crawford switched to southpaw. Until Crawford switched to southpaw. Is that what you're saying, Stephen?
Huh?
Until Crawford switched stance, because Crawford switched to southpaw to get success. Yeah.
Right.
Stephen, yeah. I'm gonna say this, right? You know that I'm a big fan of Khan, and you said something earlier which a lot of people were mentioning in the sidebar. You said that Khan's a better boxer than Canelo. I disagree. I don't think he's a better boxer than Canelo. I think Khan has a style that can cause problems, but Canelo's more versatile. Canelo has more ring intelligence, and Canelo's a better boxer.
Canelo just has more power. He has more power than Amir Khan.
You don't
He's
think
not a better boxer.
You don't think Canelo was breaking Amir Khan down for that moment? You think that was
Stephen? What do you mean by boxer? Because for me, a better boxer has good ring IQ, and Amir Khan had very little ring IQ.
No,
so it depends what you mean. Do you mean by getting in and out of range?
Because no, I mean by out. You know, in a head-to-head battle, you against your opponent, you outboxing, out moving, out slipping, making the counters, thinking before he thinks. But he was doing all that to Canelo.
Amir Khan's not a thinker.
No, but look at it.
That Canelo's got the ring IQ to set the traps.
He wasn't setting no traps, though, right? In that fight right there.
He set some traps, I think, in round 4 to then target Amir Khan's body to slow him down so he could finish him off.
To me, Canelo looked like a fish out of water in that fight. That was a miracle shot. When he clipped Amir Khan, that was a miracle shot.
Stephen, no, that was not. That shot did not come out of nowhere. That right hand didn't come out of nowhere.
I think so, man.
Stephen, man, that was calculated. He set traps. He cut the ring off. He stopped Amir Khan moving.
I don't know, man.
Into the body.
So, Stephen, you know, Canelo, right? Canelo is a boxer. Like, I'll be honest with you, like that guy has serious boxing IQ. I think his boxing IQ he has serious. Amir Khan's more naturally gifted in terms of his hand speed and foot speed, but when it comes to the overall package, Canelo's got more to his game. He's not just power. He knows how to break guys down. He knows how to. He can box with you. He can walk you down. Amir Khan fights one way. Canelo can fight multiple ways.
You know what makes Canelo so brilliant and so beautiful is the fact that Canelo is built like a tank. Is the fact that Canelo is so rugged and durable, and he's able to withstand so much punishment that he ends up turning the tables on you.
He was built to box. That's why, genetically. I mean, you can tell by the size of his neck. He's built to take those punishing punches. Khan doesn't have that.
Steven's getting a lot of criticism in the sidebar.
I always do, man.
Steve, listen, let me tell you something. Steven talks
sense. Yeah, he does.
People need to start putting respect on Steven's name. You know, you might disagree with what he's saying, but put some respect on us. He comes on here, he puts the camera on, and he tells it like it is. Obviously, sometimes if you disagree with him, fair enough. Like, I disagree with what he's saying about Khan being a better boxer than Canelo. But, you know, Steven knows that it's all love. But
it's all love, man.
Yeah.
And listen. I'm saying things that, you know, everybody on here know how much I love Errol Spence. And I just said that Errol Spence was getting outboxed, and he was getting beat by Kell Brook. just to give the
Stephen, I
appropriate person
disagree
their
with that as
just
well.
due.
I disagree with you on that as well. I don't think Errol Spence. I think Errol Spence was slowing Kell Brook down for the inevitable. I think that was always going to happen. I think Errol Spence
Yes,
was
I
a better
agree.
boxer.
I think Errol Spence was getting thoroughly outboxed and beat by Kell Brook.
Thoroughly.
That's what I feel.
No,
You
I'll tell you what,
what?
man.
My dad watched that fight, Stephen. My dad watched that fight. Right. You know what he said at the end? That Errol Spence was in a different league to Kell Brook. He was in a different class.
Yeah. I think
he was tougher.
Special that night. He looked special. I'm telling you now.
He said he looked.
Man, listen.
That's what my dad. My dad hadn't seen Spence before. My dad had seen Brook before. He hadn't seen Spence before, and he said, "Errol Spence is in a different class." And you know what he said to me? He said to me, "There's no way Khan beats this guy." He goes, "Khan should stay away from this guy." That's what my dad said. He'd never seen Errol Spence fight before, Stephen. He'd never.
Well, this is what I'm saying. Listen. I'm not here to. I'm not trying to take away anything from Canelo or Spence or whoever I say. I'm just saying that in that particular fight with Kell Brook, what was the edge? Was the fact that Errol Spence was tougher. He was tougher. He was physically tougher than than Kell Brook, and that won him the fight because he was getting beat. He was getting beat, man. I'm telling you, he was getting beat that fight, dude.
But I don't understand this about boxing. It's like, I get what you're saying, Stephen, but boxing is a 12-round fight. Like, if you can't maintain it, it's like I don't understand what you mean by he's getting beat, because after 6 rounds, it was one-way traffic in Spence's favor. Spence won, like, I don't think in the first 6 rounds, Ray, was Spence getting battered, or was he getting battered and blown away? Like, I think Spence was.
No, he wasn't.
It was kind of like a 4-3 kind of. It wasn't. Kell Brook wasn't dominating. Errol Spence was in that fight. It was a very close fight for me. And then after 6 rounds, the fight just became one-sided, in my opinion. After 6 rounds, I thought Errol Spence just started dominating Kell Brook.
Do you know what it's like?
So let me ask everybody. Let me ask everybody on here a question. Let me ask Ash, Ray, and you, Imran. Okay, so what y'all telling me is that Kell Brook, Kell Brook is just a wash. He don't deserve no respect at all.
No. Definitely not saying that.
I'm not saying that. I think Kell Brook's a really good fighter. Ray, you go, Ray.
Yeah, I think he was. I don't think he was having the joint success against Spence, which you saw. I think my way of seeing that fight was that it was only a matter of time before Spence did what he did, and had Golovkin not had that fight with Kell Brook, perhaps it would have gone to points, or perhaps it would have been a later stoppage. But Errol Spence was magnificent that night. Kell Brook was a good fighter, but there's levels to the game boxing. There's levels, and I just think like, how do you fought? I mean, for example, Keith Thurman. Would you have beaten Keith Thurman, Stephen?
I don't know, man. I don't know, man. I think Keith Thurman. I think when Keith Thurman was in the thing at that time when Errol Spence fought Kell Brook. Listen, man. A lot of people don't give Keith Thurman his just due. Keith Thurman was a real live killer, and that dude could hit.
Even Keith Thurman beat Khan and Kell Brook.
But the thing is, Kel, you just said it there. Keith Thurman was a killer. Kell Brook wasn't. I don't think Kell Brook was the same killer as what you could call Keith Thurman was.
Ray. Keith Thurman beats Amir Khan and Kell Brook. He's all wrong.
Yeah, I know.
He's all wrong.
I agree. I agree with that.
He's all wrong.
I know. So what I'm saying is, you can't call Kell Brook killer like you can call Keith Thurman.
Well, Keith Thurman, but Ray, Keith Thurman was the best welterweight in the world at that time.
Yeah, Keith Thurman may have even beaten Errol Spence at that time. Keith Thurman. Let me tell you. You know Keith Thurman. Keith Thurman has something that Spence don't have. You know what? Keith Thurman has explosive punching power. Go watch the fight he had with Danny Garcia. If Danny Garcia didn't have a granite chin, if that was Khan in the first round, Khan would have been asleep. That punch that he landed with that right hand, that Garcia took, God knows how he took that punch, right? Keith Thurman had legs. Keith Thurman had speed. Keith Thurman had movement. Keith Thurman had everything, power. He had literally everything. Keith Thurman's injuries killed him. Keith Thurman had everything. He was the complete fighter. Complete fire. The only thing that Keith Thurman was vulnerable is the body shots. If you hit him with a good body shot, he could fold. But apart from that, for me, Keith Thurman had everything. I don't know what you guys think. I thought he was a complete fighter.
I agree with you 100%.
He was a great fighter, but you know, some of the welterweights at the time, I'm not too sure Kell Brook would have beaten due to championship, due to champion welterweights at the time.
But that was Hearn, though, Ray. That was Hearn that kind of basically Hearn was a good promoter, and that was Hearn feeding everyone that Kell Brook's the best welterweight in the world. That was him feeding everybody because Hearn was good at that.
Doing that. He's very good at that. He's very good. Look at what he's doing with Conor Benn.
Yeah.
You know, look what he's doing with Conor Benn. So you know, he's terrific, and he's going to do the same with Lee Wood. He's going to try and convince everybody that Lee Wood's the best. You know, he's got the best two featherweights, Lee Wood and Josh Warrington. And everyone knows that he has.
Can you remember when Kell Brook beat Sean Porter? Oh, Kell Brook beat Mini Mike Tyson. He beat Mini Mike Tyson. Remember? That's what he was saying. That's what he's saying. He's saying Kell Brook beat Mini Mike Tyson. How can you compare Sean Porter when he's not got punching power to Mike Tyson?
Yeah,
it's just
Well, he was just saying his ferocity.
Yeah, he's started. No, but he was saying because I remember one of the reporters asked him that Khan, since he fought Danny Garcia, that he was fighting no punches, and then Eddie Hearn was like,
real cool. I want to go back to what you said earlier, Imran.
Yeah,
I listen, man. I understand that too, and I you know, we can move on after this, but I understand that, you know, saying boxing is a 12-round affair.
Yeah,
I was saying this, you know, I'm not here to say that Kell Brook, and I just want to, you know, we can leave at we can move on after this. I just want to say that Kell Brook should be respected at the very minimum.
Yeah, you should.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
He's what I want to talk about, Ray. Go on, Ray.
I was just going to ask Stephen a real quick question.
Yes, sir.
About Valdez and Stevenson, who got in that fight?
Ooh.
Oh, man, listen. Unfortunately, man, I'm at the road with Steven Shakur. I mean, I just don't see anybody beating him, man.
Yeah, Steven's a big fan of Stevenson.
Yeah, so much.
But you know what? I want to talk
Steven,
about
like similar boxers, to be fair.
Ray, me and you are having a debate about this. And I want to get Steven and Ash on this because about Golovkin, about him being one of the greatest middleweights. We were speaking on Messenger, and you were saying, Steven, in my opinion, Golovkin is one of the greatest middleweights of all time. Like, I don't know whether you put him top 10. For me, if you're a top 15 middleweight, even if you're in the top 15, you're one of the greatest. I feel Golovkin, like we were saying with Brook, right? I feel Golovkin didn't get the opportunities. And let's be honest, guys, he beat Canelo in that first fight. For me, right?
Not my
Canelo is, for me right now, is a monster, right? He's the greatest fighter of this era. Golovkin beat that guy. He beat that guy and he was jobbed, in my opinion, right? And the second fight was close. Golovkin, for me, I don't know why. I just don't think he gets the credit, Ray. I think, for me, he's one of the... Like, I know what you're saying about his resume and he didn't really fight top guys. But are we saying that if Bernard Hopkins went in the ring with Gennady Golovkin, Ray, that Bernard Hopkins washes Gennady Golovkin? Or any middleweight?
Not washes him, but he's got a good chance of beating him. I just think that when you talk about all-time greats, you've got to be looking at the resume and the quality of opponents, and Golovkin falls way short on that department.
I think Golovkin's an all-time great, Ray. I do.
I think he's an all-time great too.
I don't think he's an all-time great, no. So
I
Stephen, when I'm talking about all-time greats, I'm talking about Monzon, I'm talking about Hagler, Sugar Ray Robinson, Greb. you're putting Golovkin in that sentence.
Yeah, you got a point. You got a point. But
there you go,
I think we fall victims to our own confinement. But you're always saying who was the greatest of all time, this, that, and the third. I'll just say this: I love Gennady, and he's one of the best middleweights I've seen in a long time, and I really enjoy him.
No, but what I mean is, like all of those guys were dominant middleweights of their era, right?
Yeah.
Gennady Golovkin was a dominant middleweight of his era. It's not his fault who's here, Wouldn't you say that, Ray? Like he's the best of the best of middleweights of this era. I don't think there's been anyone more dominant than Gennady.
I don't know. I mean, it's a bit like saying, well, how dominant was Andre Ward? But then you could argue he got beat by Kovalev in that first fight.
Yeah.
It's the same as what you were saying with Golovkin and Canelo.
So is Andre Ward an all-time great, Ray? See, I don't know what you're meaning by an all-time great. This is what I mean. I don't know where we're going. What are we going? Like, what are we saying? An all-time great is Hagler, Sugar Ray Leonard, Sugar Ray Robinson? Are we?
As I've just named, is in the very best to have laced up the gloves. And for me, it's your top 10. Your top 10 are like your all-time greats in that weight class.
Your top 10 greatest of all time? You mean like greatest fighters of all time?
In that weight class, yeah. And for me, Golovkin doesn't come in my top 10. I mean, these lists are subjective. He might fit in Ash's, he might fit in yours, he might fit in Stevens, but he doesn't fit in mine.
Fair enough.
It's just one of those, and that's my reasons. Because when I'm looking at the difference between a great fighter and somebody who's been an all-time great, I am looking to see who else they fought.
But here's the thing, though, Ray. Like, let's go through Hagler's resume, right? Which fights do we talk about with Hagler? Name the fighters that we talk about.
Hearns and Leonard.
Hearns. Yep.
Sugar Ray Leonard.
Yeah.
Who was a welterweight, right? Duran, who was a lightweight.
His best wins were. His best performances were down there.
Whose best performance?
Sugar Ray Leonard has got legendary statuses.
No. But
Sugar Ray Leonard, or you're talking about him as a welterweight. Yeah, but this is the thing. The name. Who is fought that's got the name and the legacy that Leonard had and Duran have? Forget about the weight classes, because Golovkin fought Kell Brook, who was also a welterweight. So you tell me who Golovkin's fought that carries the same name that of Sugar Ray Leonard or a Duran or a Mugabe.
A Canelo?
He hasn't. Apart from Canelo, he hasn't. And this is what I'm saying. The weight class doesn't really matter. Yes, he fought somebody that's come up from welterweight, but so did Golovkin.
But
you see what I'm saying, or not?
I get what you're saying, but Hagler was naturally a much bigger man, and let's not forget Hagler lost to Sugar Ray Leonard.
He did, yeah.
Lost.
But he still fought him.
You know what I mean?
He still fought him.
No, I get what you're saying. Like, but these guys like John Mugabe, so do you think John Mugabe was better than Golovkin, Ray? That's a middleweight. That's a proper middleweight.
He was, and he gave Hagler a good fight, and he was unbeaten, wasn't he? When we got into that fight.
No,
he was unbeaten.
But do you think he's better than Golovkin, though?
I mean, John Mugabe was a very, very, very good middleweight. Was he better than him? I'm sure he fought a better caliber of opponents than Golovkin.
Do you think Hagler would have stopped Golovkin?
No, listen.
Mugabe,
no one would have stopped Golovkin.
But this is what I mean. Golovkin was an animal for anyone that he stepped in the ring with.
Yeah,
like
but that doesn't mean Hagler
I
can't
spoke
beat
to
him on
Carl, I
points.
spoke to Carl and Carl and Andy, who are big fans of, or Andy's a massive fan of Hagler, and he said Hagler would have wiped Golovkin out in 4 or 5 rounds. I was like,
but that's Andy. That's Andy's perception of boxing, and then his reality. Yeah, this is the same Andy that thought Golovkin would have been battered by Carl Froch.
yeah.
He told me, him and Carl told me Carl Froch would have stopped Golovkin. So Andy and Carl talk about boxing, and then there's reality, then there's what everybody else thinks. And I'm telling you now, nobody would stop Golovkin. So I wouldn't include Carl and Andy in that argument, mate.
Yeah. Hey guys, I got to get off here, man. I love talking to y'all, man. Enjoyed it and stuff.
Nice
to
hear your voice again, Stephen. Yeah.
Yeah, man. Likewise, man. We gonna have to start getting back on here a lot, like we used to.
Yeah.
True.
We are, man. We are definitely. I'm gonna start
It's
doing
just
them
life,
more,
innit?
man. I'm gonna start. That was a wicked debate, though. What we had about Khan and Brooke, and then this one as well. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, it was a good one.
I enjoy it.
Yeah, it was a good one, man. It was a good one. We need to get Thing on, man. We need to get Scott on and Thing on. Josh.
Yeah. I'll let them know. I will let them know.
Yeah. That was good, man. I really enjoyed it today, man.
Because to be fair, Scott and Josh are big Kell Brook fans, so they would have been backing what Stephen was saying.
Yeah. To be fair, yeah, they are big. They are big. Well, what's Burning Desire say? Burning Desire saying Andre Ward never came to fight Carl Froch. Yo, Burning Desire is a big Carl Froch fan, right? And he also thinks that Carl Froch would have beaten Gennady and Canelo. He said too big, too strong.
Who? Burning Desire? Come on, man. Did you really see that?
He said he would have beat Carl Froch. I think Burning Desire said that Carl Froch beats Calzaghe as well.
Oh no! Is this Carl? Is that who Burning Desire is?
No, it's not Carl. It's Burning Desire has been one of my good, but he's a Carl Froch fan. He loves Carl Froch.
Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong. I like Carl. I've been a big fan of Carl Froch as well. I'm just happy to be a bigger Joe Calzaghe fan. But I can't see if this guy struggled with Kessler and blamed it on an ash cloud.
Yeah.
How does he beat Golovkin? How does he beat Joe Calzaghe? This is the same.
don't see how he
the
beats
same Carl
Golovkin.
Froch. This is the same Carl Froch that was struggling with Jermaine Taylor, who was also really a middleweight
and passed his best.
Yeah, if it wasn't for that punch he landed with 14 seconds to go, he would have lost against a middleweight.
Burning Desires come back to you. He said Kessler got beat easy in the rematch.
Well, he did get beat, but I wouldn't say it was easy. He did get beat, yeah. Of course,
that was an inactive, washed-up Kessler, though, man. Oh, Burning Desire says he beats GG on points. I told you. I told you, Ray.
I don't think so. No chance. No.
Well, Burning Desire is a big Carl Froch fan, so he probably.
That's fine. That's fine.
I don't see it. I don't see how Froch would be able to. I think Gennady is a bigger puncher than Froch. I think he's a technically better boxer than Froch.
Yes.
I don't see how Froch would outbox him. I don't. Froch takes GG's punches, says Burning Desire.
No. Well, I think Golovkin's the more skilled fighter, and that's what people forget.
Froch takes the punches and gets his jaw broken.
Yeah.
You know, Carl Froch, his head movement was poor. His head was always on center line. Yeah. So Golovkin, he's got a better defense, better footwork, cuts off the ring better. It all leads up there. It just, yeah. I mean, don't forget George Groves was playing with Carl Froch in that first fight.
Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Until he got stopped. So yeah.
Do you think Froch has a better resume than who? Burning Desire says, do you think Froch has a better resume than who?
Yeah. Let me know who and I'll tell you.
I don't know. I don't know who's. Oh, Brendan Jackson says over 15 rounds. over 15 rounds, Hagler would stop GGG.
Oh, that's a bold one. I don't know. I can't see anybody stopping Golovkin, though.
Yeah, I can't either. He's so tough.
Yeah, I can't.
Yeah, I can't. He's asking, does Froch have a better resume than GGG?
Yeah.
Yeah. You could say that if do you think Golovkin won the fight against Canelo, Ray?
Not the first one, no. I had the first one. I generally thought the first one was a draw. Maybe I've watched it 3 times. I've given a draw twice, and then to Canelo by 1. The second gave 3 occasions again to Canelo.
Yeah, that was one where like Teddy Atlas had Golovkin winning both.
Yeah, some people do.
Yeah,
don't get me wrong, but this was a close fight between 2 top fighters at their peak. So I don't mind that. This is the subjectivity about boxing. It depends on your style. Remember, I like people that will box, and I thought that Canelo was on the front foot in the second fight, but on the first fight he boxed off the back foot. In the first fight, and I like that style. That's a subjectivity of boxing. It depends ultimately on what style. Like some people, like Josh, for example, he likes come forward fighters, so he would have favoured likely favoured Golovkin.
Campus Vasquez says, I scored it for G3, Golovkin second for Canelo. But yeah, a lot of people had Golovkin winning the first one and then Canelo probably nicking the second one.
Yeah, it'll be the same. People have different opinions for the Kovalev and Ward.
Yeah. Yeah, a lot of people thought Kovalev won that one, didn't they?
Yeah. I think you did as well, didn't you?
Yeah.
I had Ward winning it. But...
It was a very tough fight to score. It was hard, like because Kovalev was the first guy that really gave Ward a hard fight. Like I never seen Ward
that's true.
like that ever.
I've never seen Ward in deep water like that before.
Yeah, I know he got put down before, but you know how like he got put down against who is it? Was it Darnell? Was it Darnell Boone that put him down? I think it might have been Darnell.
I can't even remember.
Yeah, I think it might have been Darnell Boone that put Ward down early, but Ward got back up and won quite convincingly. But this one was one where like I felt like Kovalev was outboxing him at times in the fight. Do you know what I mean? And Kovalev was a really good boxer as well. He wasn't just a puncher, was he, Ray?
No, he had a terrific jab.
Yeah, wicked jab.
He had a terrific jab, and I think people underrate how good Kovalev's jab is. I mean, I know he's stepping up the cruiserweight now, and he's not going to look much good. But I mean, when I first saw Kovalev, it was against a guy called Nathan Cleverly, right?
Yeah.
It was a British.
He battered him.
He absolutely annihilated him.
Absolutely
annihilated him.
He was the favorite, though. It wasn't like he was unknown. He was favorite going into that fight.
He was, but in those days, I hadn't seen much of Kovalev. I heard about him, read about him, but you know me, man. I like to watch a fighter before I give you my opinion. I hadn't seen Kovalev, and that was the first I'd seen him in the flesh, and I thought to myself, wow, this guy. He just seemed physically, he was just so imposing, so strong. He had a good job. He could move. He had obviously power, but he was a thinker as well. He wasn't like the guy I saw against Chocolatito, Julio Cesar Martinez. He wasn't just throwing punches for the sake of it. He was thinking about where he was placing his shots. That's the type of thinking fighter I like, and that's what Kovalev was.
Yeah, I'd agree. He was. Yeah. He's a great. Kovalev was a really, really, really top fighter. He was definitely under. Oh, look who's here. Look who's here. Little Penny's
Oh,
in
Little
the
Penny, yes. Little Penny,
Hi,
how you
Ray.
doing? How you doing, Little
Hi,
Penny? It's
Ray.
been a while.
Yeah, same here too. Hi, Ahmed. Hi, Imran. Ray.
How's it going?
Hey, Ray, were you at that Lee Wood versus Conlon fight?
No, I watch it on the I watch it on my on the telly.
Oh, okay. I thought you're from.
Yeah.
I thought all you guys are from Nottingham.
No, it's calling only. I'm from Newcastle.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
You know the club that been owned by the Saudi, the rich Saudi owners now.
Yeah. That's my team. Yeah.
Yeah, it looks like that the Chelsea owner might have to sell his club.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a bit of a difficult situation right there, you know.
Yeah, Chelsea. Yeah.
But Ray, there's a question here.
Yeah.
I don't want to see that fight. I want to see Eubank probably has a chance to beat GGG now. Nah, I don't think so.
No, I think you know what it is. You know, before I think it was his name Sito. Was that his name?
Yeah.
Yeah. So Sito was saying about how Kell Brook exposed Golovkin and had some success. And what I was saying was it was about the uppercuts. I think because Chris Eubank Jr. before he was trained by Roy Jones Jr., he used to throw a lot of uppercuts. And people thought he might have some success against Golovkin here. But Chris Eubank Jr. hasn't got the power. So I can't see him having much success against someone like Golovkin who's got a solid chin, because Golovkin will walk forward even more and plant his accurate and hurtful punches on Eubank. I think it slows Eubank down, breaks him down and gets rid of him double quick.
Yeah.
Ray, maybe it's the right time now. Like, because remember they were supposed to fight like 7 years ago. I don't know. I can't remember. Like,
when
Eubank
lost his
turned
pen.
it down.
Yeah.
Eubank would have got battered at that point. Oh my god.
Yeah. It would have been even worse then.
Yeah. It would have been
even worse then.
I can't imagine what Golovkin would have done to Eubank at that point. Wow.
Yeah.
Poor Kell Brook got battered instead.
But Golovkin's a bit washed up now. Like, maybe I think Golovkin will win, but I think Eubank's probably got a better chance now.
Guys, what about the fight that's happening? Golovkin v Murata. A lot of people think Murata's in for a shot of beating Golovkin.
Really?
Yeah. I mean,
Bob
Arum said he thinks Murata wins.
What do you think, Little Penny?
No, I think Golovkin will win. I don't rate Murata that highly.
Neither do I. I still think Golovkin can make a lot of noise at middleweight.
Oh, Ray, I gotta get your opinion here though. Jamal Charlo fighting Selecki.
Oh. I know you can't swear on your channel name, man. So
yeah.
I don't know how I'm gonna phrase this, but I'm really disappointed with Charlo.
Yeah.
I really am. I'm upset. This fight's an insult.
Yeah.
It's
an
insult.
They talk the talk. Hey Ray, they talk the talk, right?
Yes, true.
And then they fight someone like it reminds me of like Ryan Garcia. Like he talks like he wants to fight everybody and he's a warrior, blah blah blah. And then he fights someone he fights a nobody.
Absolutely, that's a great analogy, Little Penny. It's almost, to be fair, it's almost as bad as the Canelo Yildirim fight. You know, let's keep the same energy, because that was an awful fight as well. Charlo's, don't get me wrong as well, Benavidez fighting David Lemieux is also just as bad. Like, what does that fight do for Benavidez?
Yeah, because Lemieux he's washed up. If Triple G is washed up, Lemieux is super washed up.
Oh yeah.
I'd have to. Lemieux. I actually think that's quite an interesting fight. I think Lemieux might not. I think Lemieux might even do some damage. Yeah,
really.
You know, David Benavidez has got very poor defense. Lemieux can crack.
Yeah, but Lemieux's not the same Lemieux that, you know, like a year or two before he fought Billy Joe Saunders, when everyone was talking about him. This Lemieux is like, especially at super middleweight, super middleweight as well, you know.
I don't know about the weight and stuff, Ray, but I honestly, I don't know. I just don't rate Benavidez that highly, to be honest. I think he's beatable, and I think if Lemieux lands a big right hand on his chin, I think it could be interesting.
I don't rate Benavidez that highly. I don't rate that Zurdo Ramirez highly either. No. I just think these guys are, they come forward. They're very simplistic. If these guys were English, British fighters, people wouldn't be talking about them.
Yeah.
Because they just come forward fighters, really.
Well,
Benavidez, he's got quick hands, but his defense is horrific, and he's a weight bully. And I don't think he's as powerful as what everyone makes out to be.
But right, with Benavidez, people think that he doesn't have any defense, but his defense is his offense. You know what I mean? Like, it was kind of like Margarito. Like, even though his defense was crap, but because his offense, he was so offensively minded. Sometimes you don't need a defense because you can. Margarito was a lineal champ at 147 by just that strategy.
Yeah, but then that's true. But the type of fighters, the problem with Benavidez is there's people that can exploit his weaknesses in his weight class, and he's not going to fight them, like Caleb Plant.
Yeah, but right?
Like Andre, he's not going to fight them. Now, whether it's Caleb Plant or whether it's Andre, he needs to fight those guys. Canelo, his style is made for Canelo. Canelo would annihilate Benavidez. So that's Benavidez's problem.
Because Ray, the reason why I asked that is because Miguel Cotto, apart from Mayweather, Miguel Cotto was probably the number 2 best welterweight in the world, maybe in 2007. And he was on the top 10 pound for pound as well. And Margarito beat him with that style, right? And I feel that Benavidez, I think he has a chance against Canelo. I do think Canelo will win.
Yeah, but that win's got a huge asterisk on Little Penny. That Margarito win against Cotto.
Yeah.
Well, we have seen that style before, though, right? Like, remember Meldrick Taylor and Julio Cesar Chavez? That sort of style can win. It doesn't last.
That's another asterisk because with Margarito, we talk about a load of gloves. With Meldrick Taylor was winning that fight, in my opinion, against Chavez.
I agree. Yeah,
and Chavez was using more body shots. Benavidez doesn't have the repertoire of body shots that Chavez had, and that's the difference. Chavez was more skilled than Benavidez.
Yep. I like that fight, Ray. Benavidez, Canelo.
Oh, yeah, I do as well. I just think that Canelo counter punches the ears off him, in my opinion.
Yeah. Hey, we've got a new guest here, TF47. Who's that?
Yeah. What's going on? TF47, what's going on, bro?
What's going on, Imran? I'm just listening to y'all talk it up.
Oh yeah, what's going on? I recognize your voice.
Yeah, it's just the fighter spirit.
Yeah, the fight. You good?
Just chilling, man. Just waiting on this bitch to hit me back up. Hopefully I can get some ass today, but she's playing. Just listening to y'all.
What's going off in the boxing world, man? What do you make of the landscape? Canelo fighting Bivol. How do you see that one going?
Beautiful fight, tough competition. I see it going how Plant in the Canelo fight went. Plant's a good mover, probably one of the best movers Canelo ever fought. The whole fight he was just in defense mode, in my opinion. And I see the same thing with Bivol. He's going to try to move around as much as he can. Later rounds, gas out, 9th, 10th. He's going to gas out, and Canelo's going to peep that and just attack him and do what he does. It might go to the distance, though, but I wouldn't be surprised if Canelo knocks him out.
Ray, I know you have a different opinion about that. You think that...
Yeah. I think Bivol will do all right. I think Bivol will do quite well. I think Bivol's got the foot speed, the hand speed, the height. He's got a lot of advantages. He's I can see why people will draw similarities to Plant because they've got a fairly similar style. But I do think Bivol's better at executing that style than Plant. Canelo's unstoppable right now. I see that, and Canelo's proven himself against big names. He's proven himself at light heavyweight before. People talk about Bivol not being that physically big, but I think Bivol's a bit more skilled than what people are giving him credit for.
What about you, Imran? What's your prediction?
Yeah, I kind of see it the same way that you kind of see it. But Ray, are you picking Bivol in this one?
Yeah, right. I'm gonna go for Bivol. It's the first time I've gone against Canelo since the Mayweather fight. Yeah.
You know what, Ray? My brother picked. My brother picked. You probably remember this. My brother picked Saunders to beat Canelo. He said he's all wrong for Saunders.
Did, yeah.
Yeah, he did, and he said after that, I ain't picking anyone else against Canelo. So I think this might be your moment where you picked against Canelo, and after this, if Canelo wins, you'll say I ain't picking against Canelo ever again.
I don't know. I would agree, but I still think Beterbiev will beat Canelo.
Even if he beats Bivol emphatically, do you reckon? I agree with you on that one. I think
Bivol and Beterbiev have got different styles, man.
Yeah, they have. Yeah, Beterbiev's a monster. Beterbiev, I'm worried. As a guy that likes Canelo, I don't know if he wins that fight. I don't know.
Yeah.
That one's
one.
Yeah.
I don't think Ray. I don't think Bivol has got the power to worry Canelo. I think he can back him off, but I don't think he has that power to make Canelo think twice. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's a fair point. I think he does. I think Bivol hits hard enough to command your respect, and I think he can make you think twice. But yeah, I do think he can go through gears, Bivol. I think people are looking at the Craig Richards fight a lot and thinking, who's Craig Richards? What's he ever done? And people think that Bivol laboured to a 12-round points decision. I don't know. But then again, we said the same about Usyk at heavyweight. I mean, he struggled against Witherspoon, he struggled against Chisora, and then he did what he did.
I actually picked AJ to win against Usyk, just for full disclosure. And man, but the thing is, Usyk is accomplished, whereas Bivol, even though he has a belt, I don't think he's accomplished. You know what I mean, right?
Good point. That's a good point.
Well, what you mean is Usyk was obviously he's amateur pedigree. Bivol's got a good amateur pedigree, but what you're trying to say is Usyk was undisputed as a cruiserweight champion. And that's a difference. And
he had fought better fighters as well. Like at cruiserweight, he had fought Hunter, he had fought Gassiev, he had fought Bellew, he had fought.
Did he not fight Bradis?
Bradis. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he beat Bradis. Yeah, that was his toughest fight. Bradis was actually a split decision.
Well, he fought Tony Bellew as well.
Yeah, Bellew. Yeah, that's what I mean. He's fought some really good guys, man. Usyk I know he didn't have many fights, but he had fought a lot of guys, and then he's beaten Joshua. Usyk's building already, and I'm talking. That guy's got a serious resume, Ray.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
He has a serious resume. I want to ask about Joshua, man. Joshua's obviously been talking a lot. I've seen him doing a lot of talking on Twitter as well. It's not like him. And the Joyce is saying, "Listen, I'm gonna batter Joshua." Did you see that?
Yeah, I don't think Joe Joyce would batter Joshua. I think Joe Joyce is going to see.
I don't see either. I think Joyce don't really have any. Joyce is terrible to watch, man.
Yeah, he's an awful boxer, Joe Joyce. Terrible.
But I think it's a confidence booster for AJ if he fights Joe Joyce, because Joe Joyce is there to be hit. He might get his confidence back by fighting him.
Exactly. Yeah,
did you see that beef with Shane McGuigan and Joe Joyce, Ray?
Yeah, I did. I saw it on Instagram. Yeah. Yeah.
Yo, he was going hard on McGuigan because McGuigan said that Joshua would batter him and he goes, I lost all respect for McGuigan and you tried to sign me. I'm glad I didn't sign with you. This, that, and the other. Like that was some serious beef kicking off right there.
Yeah, because Joe Joyce can't take the truth. He can't take the truth. That's why.
Yeah,
he can't take it.
Do you think Wilder beats Joyce?
Yeah.
Yes.
Wilder probably could end his career.
Yeah, because
remember, Joe Joyce has got no defense. He's got no defense whatsoever, and Wilder's near a heavyweight that hits harder than Wilder today.
Yeah.
Because I think his power is still there, Imran. His punch resistance might not be there anymore with Wilder. I think his power is still there. I think he can really hurt Joe Joyce. Whereas with AJ, it might take him a few rounds to get him out of there. But actually, I like that fight because Joe Joyce also he has a chance if Joe Joyce can sustain
Take Joshua late.
Yeah, he can beat AJ.
Yeah, AJ, I don't know where he's at right now. I'm a bit confused. I don't know where he's at mentally, guys. He might be able to hit him, but will he fall over? So he's talking about Joyce not falling over because Joyce has got a granite chin. They say, Ray, that hitting Joyce is like hitting a brick wall. Is that true, Ray?
I don't know. I think at some point he's going to fall. He's hit by people like 17, 19 stone. If you're getting hit clear in the chin, I don't think he's going to stand there for long. Joshua can punch, so I still think
Sam Jones says that Joe Joyce will go straight through Joshua. He'll go straight through him.
Yeah, Sam Jones. No, I completely disagree.
Sam Jones. But Sam Jones is going to say that, ain't he?
Yeah, of course he is.
He's friends with Joe Joyce, but I just don't see how Joe Joyce goes straight through Joshua. I don't really think he put if someone said Wilder goes straight through Joshua, I can see that, what I mean? But I can't really see how Joe Joyce with his such slow foot speed, such slow hand speed, I don't even think he hits hard.
Listen, he didn't go through Dubois. He beat Dubois by using the jab. He didn't go through Carlos Takam. He struggled with Carlos Takam.
Carlos Takam was battering him at points in that fight.
Yeah, he didn't go through Brian Jennings. So what makes you think he's going to go through Joshua?
Hey, Imran, what do you think about Benavidez saying that he sparred Bivol and that Bivol's patterns and movement is, he found out his movement and timing?
Yeah. Guys, you know what? I want to read this out to you about this Bivol situation. Ray, I don't know if you've seen.
Is this the Abel Sanchez thing?
Yeah.
I heard it. Yeah.
What do you make of it?
That's what I wanted to talk about too. I feel like a lot of people are sleeping on Benavidez. He's a problem, and nobody wants to fight him. It looks like.
I don't know about Benavidez, man. I'm not a big fan.
I think it's a huge problem, Imran. I rate Benavidez highly because of his size. He's just so big at 168. And at that weight class, right, size matters, man. Because you're now talking about the big boys. And Canelo is not a big 168er.
Yep.
I don't know, man. I just don't rate Benavidez like that. I don't know.
No, I don't think Benavidez is that good.
Yeah,
his defense is awful.
Yeah, I don't rate him, Ray, either, man. I'm not a big.
What Bivol said though. Bivol said that Benavidez's defense is pretty good.
Bivol said that.
Yeah, Bivol said that he can beat Canelo in the interview, and they're cool. They spar, so they're gonna say good things about each other. But Bivol said that Dave Benavidez, his defense is pretty good. He has combos, and I think so too. I just think he hasn't been able to prove himself because nobody wants to fight him.
Hey, TF47. I think that Canelo versus Benavidez fight could happen in Mexico City. Like that would be a huge fight there. It'd
be huge.
It'd be over 100,000 at Azteca Stadium, right?
Yeah, it'd be huge. Definitely.
Do you think they'll break that record? That
Do you think Benavidez
133,000?
has that name though, little Penny?
Yeah,
Do you really
I
think
think they would.
Benavidez has that name?
No, he doesn't. He doesn't. Benavidez don't have that name.
I don't think Benavidez is going to sell it out. To be fair.
No, Ray.
I don't think he
I mean, if he fights Canelo,
Canelo sells out regardless. That's the thing.
Yeah, Canelo could fight me or you, and he'd sell out. He'd fight anyone.
Yeah,
but I don't think it's
Canelo.
Benavidez.
Exactly, Benavidez isn't bringing anything to the table.
No.
he's Mexican. He's Mexican, though. Like,
So Ramirez.
Yeah, but Ramirez is not an exciting fighter, whereas Benavidez is. You know what I mean? And he's got that. Benavidez has got that machismo type attitude, right? TF, like, you know what I mean? Like, I can't explain it, but
I agree. I mean, he's been on a knockout streak. He hasn't been fighting the best opponents, but everybody he's fought, he's took him out. He's done what he's supposed to do. So you can't really hold him to that, standard. Nobody wants to fight him. I think so.
Do you think if he fights the top guys, does he? I don't know, man. I think Caleb Plant beats him. I honestly, I
think Plant beats Benavidez comfortably.
Yeah, I
don't know. Because we saw what happened.
Yeah, sorry, TF.
We saw what happened with Canelo and Plant. He can't hold his own with somebody who has power, right?
Yeah.
Even against Uzcategui. His flaws was shown there, but Uzcategui is not as skilled or doesn't have the power like David Benavidez. I don't know. That fight will be big. I want to see that. Plant and Benavidez, I definitely want to see that. But you're right. Plant's a good boxer. I wouldn't be surprised if he beats Benavidez, but we'll see.
Yeah, I don't know. Until... You know what? Benavidez is a bit like Joe Joyce for me, in the sense that until he does it against a top tier guy, I'm not going to be a believer. His style, to me,
I just from hearing interviews and stuff and seeing what other boxers say, he's the real deal. He's been sparring champs, Triple G, Bivol since he was like 15, holding his own too. Anybody could spar. You could spar, but can you hold your own? And he definitely has. That's the thing. And he's a problem. Nobody wants to fight him. What it seems like.
Sparring.
You
know what I mean?
We need to see him against the best. We need to see him against.
Oh, definitely. It's just, man, boxing. That's the thing about boxing, dude. Like in the UFC, say what you want to say. They make the fights. In the UFC. Who people want to see fight? It's gonna happen. Boxing, man. That's why I don't get excited no more for this shit. Honestly, it's too disappointing.
We get to see Andrade v Zach Parker. We get to see Charlo v Selecki. We get to see.
Oh man,
we get to see.
Killing me, man.
We get to see.
But guys, to be fair, there are some good fights out there, like Charlo. What's his name? Serrano versus Taylor.
True. You're right. That's a fact. You're right.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but none of those are fights. None of those are super fights that we really want. Where's Crawford Spence? Where's Charlo and
Taylor and Serrano? That's gonna be a
super fight.
No, that's a super. No, don't get me wrong. That's a super fight. But what I mean is that fight doesn't have the same attention as the ones that I'm mentioning.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Alvarez Bivol is also a good fight. Like that's
super good fight. I can't.
Yeah, Alvarez against anybody is a big fight, but there's the other guys. Like I'm talking about, Andre Charlo. I think about it. That would be a wicked fight. I would be well excited.
No, Imran. What I'm saying is, Canelo Alvarez could have picked Selecki himself, but he didn't. He picked probably the second best light heavyweight out there. I
don't think Canelo could pick Selecki, man. No way.
But you know what I mean? Like Canelo actually picks champions, like bona fide.
Yeah. I think Canelo has to as well, Little Penny, with the money that he's getting.
I think he got a lot of backlash from the Adrian fight, so I think he's under big pressure.
Yeah, I agree.
He is.
But Ray, when you fight back to back great guys like Canelo has, sometimes you're entitled to one or two
cherry pick.
Soft touch-ups here and there, like Yildirim. You know what I mean, Ray? That's why I gave him a pass on that fight.
You're entitled to it, possibly, but then what I would argue is, the thing with Canelo is, you then have to make sure that the subsequent fights after that are the fights that the
which
fans
it
want.
was. Yeah, which it
You
did,
know?
right? Remember?
So that pressure's not really on him, and it's still going to be on now. He's done his business at 68. You got to remember, not me, but there's a lot of people putting pressure on him to fight Charlo, Andrade, or Benavidez. So if you're not fighting one of them boys, you're then going to have to fight one of the top light heavies, because you've got to remember as well, little Penny, there's a lot of talk of him fighting with Carbu.
Yeah.
And if you
That
put
might happen,
Carbu,
Ray, that might happen in December, because I hear he's signed a 3-fight deal with the Zone for 185 million.
right? Because I heard the third fight after the Golovkin one wasn't going to be McCarver, it was going to be
Ryder.
Yeah, in the UK, because they want that fight to be in the UK.
That's terrible.
Hey, Ray, Imran, and TF47. If Canelo fights, so he's fighting Bivol 175. Say he wins that, he goes back down to 168, wins against Triple G. He jumps up 2 weight classes and fights Makabu at cruiserweight in December. That's very Pacquiao, very Henry Armstrong type run, albeit at a higher weight class. Don't you think?
I don't think he's going down to 168. I think the Triple G fight's going to be at 175, isn't it?
Really?
No, I think it's at 68.
I heard. I don't know.
No, Eddie Hearn said it's the undisputed titles. Yeah,
Triple G won't stop with the 75. It's going to be at 68, that fight.
Yeah, I think so too, TF. 168. That's too much of a jump for Triple G.
Yeah.
From 160 to 175. He hasn't even been at 168. Or like
that's more than a stone, isn't it? So
it's because he's number one pound for pound, so they're gonna hold him to a higher standard. But these other dudes, they're not doing nearly as close to what he's doing, you know?
Yeah,
but since he's number one, they're gonna hold him to a higher standard. That's all it is.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. That's what we did to Mayweather as well. Like, and Pacquiao also. And he should be at that. We should regard him in that sort of like expectation, because he is pound for pound number one. That's why he has to fight the fights. Like, he can't, like what Imran is saying, he can't pick Selecki and these guys. He has to pick Bivol and Beterbiev. Kind of like when Pacquiao had to fight, Hatton and.
But it's hypocritical. It's hypocritical. That's why I don't want Charlo, Andre, none of these dudes to get the Canelo fight. Never, because they don't fight each other. It's super. It's just tiring. It's just.
Yeah,
guys, what do you make of Kovalev? Ray,
fight each other, and prove you get the shot, but they don't want to fight each other.
The thing with Andre is, I get the feeling he's just hanging about, waiting for a Canelo fight. And he's just going to ride off into the sunset.
Yeah. Yes.
I don't get the impression.
What is he? What is his career about? I don't understand his career.
He's got all the ability in the world.
Hey,
he's got all the ability. He's got tremendous ability, but he just doesn't want to fight anybody. He's waiting for the Canelo fight.
I don't blame him though, because they're never going to get that payday ever unless they fight Canelo. So
yeah, that's not how you create a legacy, though, man. That's
exactly, Imran. But think about how Charlo, Andre, these dudes are basically only relevant from talking about Canelo. Just think about it.
Guys, have you ever been excited about a Charlo or Andre fight?
The younger one, yeah.
Yeah, the younger one, the older one, and Andre. I don't think I've ever been excited for an Andre fight ever.
Same here.
I think it's terrible. I think I think Andrade is what is wrong with boxing. Someone was saying earlier, I don't know who it was, that Floyd Mayweather has impacted these guys really badly.
Yes. Yeah. He left a legacy that it's not favorable to boxing.
Literally everyone wants to be undefeated now. Nobody wants to take any loss. It's terrible.
Yeah, and because he's in boxing, like as a promoter, whoever he promotes, he's gonna copy that same blueprint, like
like Tank.
Yeah.
And I feel like for that sort of a mentality to get out of boxing, I feel like he has to get out of boxing. Like he can't get involved, and I don't think that will happen because Floyd's got so much money. I think he'll be a promoter like De La Hoya. See De La Hoya, he didn't have that. When De La Hoya, because De La Hoya fought everybody, right? Didn't duck anybody. And then when he became a promoter, right, like I think he had Hopkins first, and then he had Hatton, and he had like Mayweather. He actually wanted those guys to fight the best of the best because that's how he is. Whereas Floyd, he cherry-picked a lot of his fights, and that's what he wants his fighters to be. So I feel like we're going to have this sort of a mentality for a while until he gets out of boxing.
You know what though, with Mayweather, the problem is Mayweather was very good. So the thing is, a lot of these guys aren't on Mayweather's level. Yeah. So the problem is, in order for them to stay undefeated, they have to fight these cherry picks. Do you understand?
Yeah.
Mayweather could fight the very best, and he could beat them because Mayweather was that good. The problem is that these guys aren't that good. So by them staying undefeated means them fighting nobodies basically, because Mayweather was so great that he could fight the best and beat the best, even though you could say he did it at catchweight, so he did it when he wanted wherever. The fact is Mayweather was great, so Mayweather could fight these guys and stay undefeated, whereas these guys unfortunately aren't good enough, and if they were to fight one another, they would take losses, and they know that.
Imran, just to be fair to Floyd, because sometimes we give Floyd a lot of a lot of negativity, which is valid. See, the thing is with Floyd, the reason why we accepted that back then, Floyd's cherry picks up at 140, 147, and 154, is because he made his mark at 130 and 135, where he was fighting the best of the best.
Yeah.
Whereas these guys that you're talking about, Tank, he hasn't done that at 130 and 135. He's probably cherry picking. So that's why we can't accept it.
Tank's done nothing. Like, let's be brutally honest.
It's social media. It's social media. Ryan Garcia neither. They're caught in the social media. We're gonna keep this money golden ticket. We can't let them lose because then the social media kids they're not gonna be convinced anymore. So fuck it. We'll take this route. Stay undefeated instead of just risking stuff. Simple. It's all social media hype. They're acting like divas. So boxing, man. I mean, love and hate relationship.
Hey, TF, I would have had more respect for Tank if he gave Isaac Cruz a rematch, right? Because that was a very tough fight for Tank.
Isaac Cruz won that fight. In my opinion, he won that fight. But yeah, I feel you. Go ahead.
Yeah, like why fight Rolly? First of all, when people say Rolly is his mandatory, dude, Tank, you've got the regular belt. Regular belts shouldn't have mandatories, right? It should be the super belt. I think it's Cambosis. It's him that has mandatories. Rolly, they're just picking him because he's got a mouth and Tank.
Leo Penny, Ray's favorite fighter is Rolly, ain't it, Ray?
Oh, really?
I absolutely hate that guy.
yeah.
He's got a mouth though, which is good for boxing.
Yeah, but he can't fight.
No, it's awful.
Yeah.
He can't fight. Oh, that guy.
He's gonna give Tank problems. You
know, the worst thing about Rolly is I've seen this guy critiquing guys that he couldn't even hold their jock straps. Like I see this guy, like they're talking about Canelo. They're talking about fighters that he couldn't even hold their jock and saying like, I find the guy annoying. I'll be honest with you.
Have you seen the footage of him sparring Ryan Garcia?
No, what happened? Did he beat him up or?
He was kind of holding his own with Ryan Garcia. I feel
like that's sparring though.
Yeah, I don't know. Sparring. I think we look too much into that sort of stuff.
Yeah, it's the same when I saw a video of Teofimo Lopez getting beaten by that Jose Valenzuela.
Well, it happens.
Yeah, but
Jose Valenzuela. The thing is that he's not a little dude. Have you seen him stand next to David Benavidez? He's like taller than David Benavidez. He's not a little dude, and he has powers. But yeah, I heard about that.
Yeah, but it's sparring, you know. It's sparring.
Yeah.
It doesn't mean anything.
Yeah, and
True.
remember,
I heard at times in sparring when Khan and Pacquiao used to spar, I heard Khan used to light Pacquiao up at times.
yes, I agree. I've seen
So
that.
like, that don't mean in the fight that Khan would have lit Pacquiao up, would it?
Yeah,
and Manny has actually has attested to that because of Amir Khan's hand speed, and Amir Khan was at his prime at that time. But it is sparring, and Manny sometimes because Freddie asks him to improve, so sometimes he can't throw that left all the time. Freddie wanted him to throw the jab and the right hook more. So because he can't throw his left that much in sparring, he gets hit a lot, right? Because he's experimenting. You know what I mean?
And the thing is with Amir Khan, right? He can make you look bad as well, can't he? With it because he's so fast.
Yeah. He made Canelo look bad when they fought, like in the early rounds.
He did. Yeah, he did. Yeah, he did. To be fair, do you think Pacquiao would have beaten that Canelo
at 155?
Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't think so, man. Canelo's too big, bro. Like, I think the highest that Pacquiao went up was 150.
No, he fought at 154, didn't he?
No, that was a catch.
He won a belt. He won a belt, but I don't think he weighed in that.
Oh,
yeah. Not at the full 154. That was a catch weight at 150.
Yeah.
Let me put it this way then. Does Pacquiao beat Jermell Charlo at 154? In his prime?
At a catch weight or the full 154?
No, at 154. At 154.
No, he doesn't. No, because Charlo's too big for him. Plus, they fight similar, like, you know, power punch. Jermell has got power, man. He can knock you out.
I don't know, Ray. I think he beat. I mean, Little Penny. I think he beats Jermell. The Pacquiao that beat De La Hoya, the Pacquiao that beat Hatton, that Pacquiao.
Yeah, but De La Hoya was a statue. He was a shell.
Oh yeah, I get.
Ricky Hatton left himself exposed. You know,
Margarito and those guys.
Margarito walked forward. Joshua Clottey, come on.
All right, Ray. Yeah. Had Pacquiao fought Hatton first instead of Mayweather, had Pacquiao fought Hatton in 2007 instead of 2008, right? Where he was still undefeated, even at 140, where he has the undisputed belt. I think Pacquiao would still beat him within the 6 rounds.
Easy.
Hatton was undisputed though. It was undisputed at 140.
Hatton wasn't in that class.
Ring Magazine.
No, he wasn't. But at the end of the day, these opponents that were picked for Pacquiao were tailor-made for him, in my opinion.
But Ray, the thing is, I get what you're saying, but at that point, he was sensational. Like
he was.
Yeah,
But Joshua Clottey didn't throw any punches. No,
I don't blame him though, Ray. What about Cotto?
Yeah, that was it.
He brutalized.
But the thing is, Imran. But the thing is, Imran, I think Pacquiao, because he's really a lightweight, right, 135, going to welterweight, I think he can take on guys who are big at welterweight, like Cotto and Mosley.
Okay, let's put it this way: does Cotto beat Jermell Charlo
at 154?
Yeah, because Cotto was a champion at middleweight. Let's not forget.
Yeah, true. He was a lineal champion at 160.
Yeah,
that's a good one. I think so. I think he can, because Cotto's he can box, man. He outboxed Mayweather.
He's got a very good. Yeah, Cotto was exceptional.
Yeah.
And
Cotto is big, man. He's big. Pacquiao is small.
Yeah, he was really thick set, and he was a very good body puncher. Don't forget Miguel Cotto.
Yeah.
That left hook could have caused Charlo's problems.
Yes, I agree with that.
Because Castano was getting success off the left hook, so
yes.
But here's the thing, though, guys. Here's the thing, though. When what was I gonna say about Cotto? Cotto was a great fighter, man. I thought he was. I thought he was special.
He beat Mosley. He beat Mosley when Mosley was still kind of in his prime. Whereas when
Zab
Pacquiao
Judah was lighting up Cotto though early on in that fight. Zab Judah was unbelievable fight. Did you see the way he was lighting Cotto up in that fight with those uppercuts?
Yeah.
And then thing is, Zab Judah gassed in that fight though.
And he's the only one that has knocked down Joshua Clottey. Pacquiao didn't knock down Joshua Clottey.